Oh wait, am I blocking that? I'm definitely blocking that. Okay, let's do something. Let's do something. Let's get this right here. Let's see, am I still blocking the blue chew? Nah, not anymore. It's dark as shit though. On the regular camera, it's gonna be used for the YouTube feed. Hope you guys know I have no external lighting in this. Oh, listen, I'm tipsy too. Listen, I got this beer that's getting ready to finish, and then this beer is already on deck, and I got my joint in here. How you doing, Tony? How was Thanksgiving? Tell the whole fam I said what's up. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I seen you popping on earlier. What's going on, SB? We ain't quite started the podcast yet. I'm still in the beginning stages. Just bringing all elements in here.
Okay. How was Thanksgiving, brother? How was the mac and cheese?
Oh, the mac and cheese is awesome. Well, hold on, we're gonna get there in a second. Give me 1 second because we're just about. Oh wait, too many characters. The mac and cheese was freaking amazing. What I'm really mad about is that I end up getting full drunk and I passed out. And when I got ready to go to my next destination, because I wasn't at the destination where the food was made, I didn't take myself any to-go plates at all. Like that's probably the most upsetting thing about my Thanksgiving. But we're gonna get into all that and more in just a few minutes in the MyT Sports Podcast. Hope you guys are ready for this Thanksgiving extravaganza.
Okay. Big man, you wanna hear some hot takes? Let's see how woke you are. You know something about podcasts? Hell, dígame. You kidding me or what, man? I got these 3 drunk uncles with a sports podcast. They say they got fire takes, pure fuego. You find them wherever you listen to podcasts at. If it's what they say it is, you like and you subscribe. Listen, like, and subscribe, yeah. You know how to call into the show? Yeah, man, do the podbean. You'll need headphones with a mic to call in. That's no problem, man. They'll also be at Sharky's, 8:07 p.m. on the first Wednesdays of the month. You may get some free Blue Chew. And they keep receipts or so. If anything happens in the sports world, MyT's gonna drop a tape faster than a rabbit gets fucked. There's only 3 things I have in this world. My word, my balls, and this podcast. And I don't break them for nobody. MyT Sports Season 7.
Oh shit, that's my cue. Good evening and welcome back to another edition of the MyT Sports Podcast. I am your host, the one knowing talent, Omar Taylor. It is another En Fuego day. Actually, you know what? I can't even say that today because I don't know if it's another En Fuego day in the hottest city in the world. I'm not home. I'm in a remote location. You know what? It's another magical day in the happiest city in the world. I'm up here in Orlando, Florida, folks. A little bit north of the most En Fuego city out there. We're having a lovely day. I don't even know what the highs is. I don't know what the lows is. I just know the temperature has been right the whole entire time. It's a little bit of coolness in there. It's about 5 to 10 degrees cooler than what I've been used to in South Florida. Excuse me. Excuse me. Yeah, I've had a couple of beers in me. Oh yeah, I'm on vacation. Yeah, you make it happen. You find a way to get away on vacation. Yeah, I'm on vacation. Like I'm in full blown vacation mode. Like I ain't done a sit up, I ain't done a push up, I ain't even done an eye roll to keep the cheekbones up and firm. Like I ain't done none of that shit. Be like I just been here on pure vacation, folks. But that don't mean that the sports world has been on vacation. We got some shit that we gotta talk about. Apparently they want to let a couple of cheaters into the Hall of Fame. We may talk about that, right? We're gonna talk about fuck LeBron James, but we understand. I have to bring up something that I've been seeing, and that is, I don't know if you guys realize this, but there's been a goon mellow out there, and I love it. I love the Goon Melon. We're going to talk about the Goon Melon. We have Unvacco Flacco. Oh, yes, folks. We're going to get into him and the Jets debacle. John Wall. I want to talk about John Wall because his status intrigues me. Apparently, Self-freaking Rollins gets attacked. We have our Thanksgiving games, and obviously, Zion returns. Turns. Folks, we have all that and more on the MyT Sports Podcast. As you guys already know, it's November 26th. This is Season 7, Episode 34, Excerpt 367. Hold on, let me get this on the swivel real quick. Mom Dukes is over here trying to
give a peace out.
Oh, that just stopped. Of course that did stop. It was acted up anyway.
Okay.
Oh shit, let's go back. Yeah, that was Mom Dukes. This is Season 7, Episode 34, Excerpt 367 of the MyT Sports Podcast. But guys. You know, we normally say like regardless of the time or regardless of the weather, right? But in this particular instance, it's not even that. This is more like regardless of the location.
Take that.
And regardless of the weather.
You play to win the game. Hello?
It's always a good time to talk some sports. Let's stir this motherfucker up. So let's start talking. Woo! Back at it like a sports fanatic. MyT Sports. Oh, man. SB, thank you for joining. Thank you for waiting for me. I know you there. Chill Will is in the building. We got the drunk uncles popping up. Oh, shit. You know what, fellas? Give me about 7.5 minutes. Let me get these birthday shout-outs out of the way. I will get into the podcast. I want to know how y'all Thanksgivings was. So just give me about let's go ahead and give some shout-outs first, and then we'll get into some personal shit. You know what I mean? You know how we do here. Hey, yo, DJ MyT, go ahead and play that beat for me. Yeah. Yeah. Let's go. Let's get it. Yeah, it's your birthday. We said it's your birthday. Check it. Yeah, check it. Because it's your birthday, we sing happy birthday. Check it. Yeah, check it. Yeah. All right. So I'm not gonna talk about the birthdays that we missed during the holiday season. I'm sorry. Everybody that had a birthday on the 24th and the 23rd, you just gonna be asked out, except for my goddaughter AJ Palmer. You're gonna make the one exception. So happy birthday to my goddaughter AJ Palmer. Everybody else, y'all just asked out. So we got birthdays for the 25th. We got birthdays for the 26th. Obviously the 25th. Let's go ahead and start it off by saying happy Thanksgiving to everybody, right? I know everybody that celebrates Thanksgiving. If you hope you got a chance to get around your friends or your family. Got some good food. Had a good time. I don't know if you watched some good sports because we were stuck watching Chicago, Detroit, and Dallas. I don't know how rewarding that is. But we got to watch some sports, and hopefully you got to be around some family. You got inebriated, you got intoxicated, you freed your mind, let your conscience be free, all that stuff, or whatever you want to be, from A to Z, from you to MyT. Wishing everybody happy Thanksgiving. But let's start with the birthdays now. So first birthday on the docket is to my homeboy Charles Kennedy. Now people watching on YouTube, pouring the light in. I'm gonna be coming out kind of dark today. Like, I'm talking about like super dark, like so dark that they used to call it super dark. I'm talking about like that nigga black. Right? But it's really because we don't got lighters though. Go ahead and deal with it. Everybody else, hey, you take it how we give it, right? Check it, yeah. Check it, yeah. So my homeboy Charles Kennedy happens to be a schoolmate of mine. Not so much a schoolmate of mine, but an alumni of mine from the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. Yeah, so that's where I know Charles Kennedy from. And then after that, we have a birthday for Felicia Williams Lamar. and Felicia Williams Lamar. Now I'm trying to remember what your real last name was, Felicia, when I first met you. I'm trying to remember because now I see you got a couple last names now since we were last at each other's present. But Felicia Williams Lamar was not only a battle buddy of mine, but also was a roommate of mine when I was stationed over in Indiana. Listen, guys, you guys don't know, Indiana shit was sweet. Like back then, they were 2-story, 3-bedroom townhouses for $650. Couldn't beat that shit. Can't beat that shit at all. And the Army was giving you like $1,200 for housing allowance at that time. You do the math. Check it. Okay. Also, we have a birthday today. We have birthdays today, right? We got her birthday to my homegirl, Jessica Thiemann. Now, Jessica Thiemann happens to be, what's going on, Triple P? Seeing you popped up in the podcast. Triple P popping up in the podcast. Yeah, I like how that's roll, right? Jessica Thiemann happened to be a homegirl of mine from Germany. Yeah, I met her stationed over there in Germany. You know what I mean? So one of my people, so happy birthday to her. Right? Next to last birthday. Also with a birthday today, with my homegirl, Nicole Lala. Nicole Lala happens to be a homegirl that I met when I got out the Army down here in South Florida. Was one of the people that I used to party it up with back in the late 2000s, in the late 2000s. Yeah, that was that homegirl. And then I got my homeboy Richard LeBron. Like that's just one of my dudes. That's another one of my best friends. Right now he's living in Indiana, right? And he's over here seeing all that shit that I used to see over here in India. What's going on, nickname? Welcome to the podcast. We're doing our birthday shout-outs. If you guys got any birthday shout-outs that y'all want to give out, y'all go ahead and type that up for me real quick, and I'll go ahead and let everybody know. We'll go ahead and drop that little birthday shout-out for them, because you know how we sit here on the podcast. Yeah, it's your birthday. We said it's your birthday. So go ahead and check this last birthday of the evening. It's Richard LeBron. Richard LeBron, homeboy of mine from down here in South Florida, but also now he's living in Indiana. And it's really fun because I'm trying to remember, he was also in the service too at one point in time. I know we didn't serve at the same time. I'm trying to remember if he was in the service at that time or whatever. I just know that we kept on crossing. I just know that him and I have crossed paths throughout our lives in a weird way. And I'm trying to remember if that crossing of paths had anything to do with our military service. I know the movement was due to my military service. Him, I don't know. I don't know. But to Charles and to Felicia and to Jessica and to Nicole and to Richard, to all of you, we want to wish you a happy birthday. We hope you party hard. We hope you enjoy everything, and more than anything, we hope you continue to stay Weekend at Bernie's mode. MyT. Oh man. All right. Okay. Yo, DJ MyT, go ahead. Cut the beat. Okay. Now I'm officially ready for you guys. My bad. But you know how we got this. You know how I got this. I had to take care of the peoples first before we selfishly taking care of each other here on the podcast. Chill Will. SB. What's going on, brothers? How you doing? And I'm glad you're here, Chill Will. Oh shit.
Drop takes, don't you? Drop takes, don't you?
Sir, yes, sir!
Well, if you gonna drop takes, you might as well go ahead and drop them expeditiously.
Cleveland! This is for you!
What's going on? Yo.
Take good, baby boy.
I'm good. Yo, so before we get into the formalities, I gotta let something up before I forget. I was chilling the other day, right? And I was in one of my thinking pods, and I was like, a segment came to me for Chill Will, and I was like, and I gotta work out all of the schematics of it, but I'm pretty sure you can figure out how it may go based off of the title, and it's real simple: chill or no chill.
That works.
So, I think we can figure out how to get something to work out of there. But yeah, we got to chill.
Right.
Yeah, I was sitting there, I was like, you know what? Chill or no chill. I think I like how that sounds. I think I like how that works. Actually, I was taking a shower, but I didn't want to say that. That's the reason why I try to say.
Isaiah Stewart.
That's the reason why I tried to say I was in one of my thinking pods. I ain't want to admit that this idea came to me while lathering up my body with soap and shit. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh. I was thinking about Will Williams. Hell no shower thinking about you,
That story wasn't that bad until you used the word lather.
Oh my God. What up, B? How you doing?
I tried to save you. I tried to save you from it, but once you open up that door, you know how I am.
You gotta say yourself. You say yourself.
Listen, I try to save you guys the gory details.
Nice shit. I want you.
Hold on.
The easy way, or you can do this the hard way. Oh, man.
The My LL Cool J sports. I'm thinking
Cleveland!
about myself up in the shower.
This is for you! Oh, my God. Yeah, I was thinking, man, what up, Chill Will? You know, I was thinking about you when I was in the shower the other day.
I tried to avoid it.
Right after I dropped the soap, I picked it up and said, oh.
Just know the next time I say, I'm in a thinking pod, I'm in somewhere where ideas may come to me, and I may not want to admit that.
I definitely would choke the shit out of you right now if I was there. Inside, I'm screaming.
Oh shit! And guys, welcome to the MyT Sports Podcast.
Spring body wash, and I thought, you know,
Right.
Chilling no
dropped it.
Actually,
As soon as I picked it up, came back up.
Actually, I use Dr. Teal's. By the way, like the people that make the Epsom salt, they make soap as well too. They make soap and lotion.
Don't tell me. Don't go too far.
And I was
You say you was stretching your balls. And you thought about this idea. I'm gonna be really.
But I was using my new elderberry. I was using my new elderberry scent when that idea came to. Okay. Let's get back to some. Let's get back on point. I told you I actually just had to get back. I just had to get out the chill and no chill set before I forgot. I wasn't trying to go down the rabbit hole, but talk about what we've done so far. How was you guys' Thanksgiving? Like how was it? And I guess the first question to answer. SB started this. How was the macaroni and cheese?
Go ahead,
SB.
Go ahead, B.
I mean, our Thanksgiving's in October up here in Canada, so we start Thursday.
Okay. Fair enough.
We got it right though, because Thanksgiving comes before Halloween. Here, you have your dinner before your dessert.
True. You get your big food before your candy. Yeah, listen, that makes sense. Hey, not at all. So, Chill Will, like, how was your Thanksgiving? And more importantly, before we even talk about how was the Thanksgiving, how was the macaroni and cheese?
Oh man, my auntie and them, my sister and them, you ain't never had a problem with the macaroni and cheese in their house. These the two best cooks I know in the world. They only really second two A and B to the person that's not here in the world was my grandmama.
Facts.
So other than that,
Rest in peace.
R.I.P. But yeah, man. That's how it is. That's how it is on Thanksgiving. But I don't really eat a lot of that shit no more because it fuck your stomach up. You be fucked up the whole day. You know what I'm saying? Man, listen, bro. I ate half a plate. I'm fucked up the whole night.
Oh,
damn, this shit is not cool. You get older, bro. That shit ain't cool. And then you gotta
like a 6 p.m. Thanksgiving family or like a 2 p.m. Thanksgiving family?
Nah, man, we black,
Crazy
bro. I don't know
leftovers.
what you. Yeah, this is black folks, bro. Listen here. This ain't no 2 p.m. nothing. We travel. It's 6 o'clock. The food just getting on the table. We hungry as hell. But for the most part, it went well, bro. My sister she punctual. I just want to know why the hell you call it. I'm the only one noticed that this third person. Was he a DJ? You can have somebody in the room say, "Hey, you can cue." That's the most. You can cue somebody say, "Hey, Chill Will, bring me in." Hey, B, bring me in. Hey, KJ, hey, light skin, bring me in. Like you ain't do none of that. You just have somebody to bring you in. You need a drop or something to do that. You can't do that yourself. That's against the rules. That's what I want to understand.
DJ MyT, what are you talking about?
Yeah. That's DJ MyT. You the big
He's gonna MC MyT, Jam Master
I would
MyT.
never play hide and seek with your ass. I was like, no, but you right there. It's like, you right there. You right there. That's the smallest tree you can have behind. Motherfucker, you there. I see you.
Oh shit.
Dr. MyT.
Man, that's crazy, man. I was tripping.
Oh man. Listen, as you can see, like I'm very comfortable speaking in the third person when I need to be, but that's the DJ though. Like I had to create a different persona for the DJ.
That's not the DJ. That's you, goddamn. Why Swiss saying that? That's you. I see you.
It's like, I see you.
Turns the webcam to the side and pushes the button and brings it back. Thank you, sir.
I'm not tricking me this time. Watch the whole thing.
That's funny. You giving away behind the scenes secrets.
It's not. It's not the thing. It's not though. It's not. It's not behind. It's not a behind the scenes secret. It's just crazy. You know what? No, it's not. It is him. Another person. This is crazy.
Oh shit! Oh my god! I'm crying. Listen, man.
This in front the scene.
Calling it a schizophrenia hotline.
Listen. You ain't never had fun until you played hide and go seek by yourself. I'm just saying. Like,
Man, his meds. Please get this man his meds.
oh shit. Oh man. So. I know we touched on this with you before Thanksgiving on SB. So now that we got Chill Will here, I want to keep this. We can keep this lighthearted. We can go deep, but from the lighthearted standpoint, this is a sports podcast in the most for the most part, like 51% sports podcast. From a sports standpoint, this year, what have you been thankful for, Chill Will?
And about living our lives to the better extent once again. And I'm gonna say my piece before I go back to I'm working shit. I'm really DJing tonight.
Hey, as you know,
Whoa.
make sure you tell the people where you're at tonight. You're supposed to do that every time. Like, don't play with me.
Yeah, man. But I was, we was I ain't want to fuck up the vibe, man. You know, so I was just gonna buzz everything up for self promotion.
Like, brat. You can find me, Chill Will, Cleveland, CLE, yeah, brat. You know what that?
Yeah, all of that. It's all of that. Chill Will _CLE. You know what I'm saying? That's the Instagram. You know, you can find me in Cleveland, Ohio, and shit. Other than that, man, this is the Instagram. That's how I go.
Yeah, you can find Chill Will. He's out there working the whole entire Ohio scene. Basically, if you pay, they play. They come and they do all kinds of events. It's not just karaoke, but they'll DJ for anything. They'll do weddings, they'll do birthdays, they'll do bar mitzvahs. You let them know what you want, and they'll go ahead and provide the musical entertainer to match your vibe.
Absolutely. We got still walkers, we got jugglers. We got karaoke, we got music, we got everything, bro. We can bring a whole carnival to your backyard like that. You just hit me up. It's the EQ experience too. The EQ experience on Facebook. We got a website, exp.org. exp.org. And then, it go like that, bro. What I'm most thankful, man, y'all brothers here being here. Good talking to y'all. Hope y'all had a good holidays. You know what I'm saying? And man, it's just everything kind of opening back up, and we get into the regular kind of lifestyle, man. Y'all stay blessed, stay healthy. Wash your ass with water. Put some water on that motherfucker. Wash your feet. Wash your feet.
Make sure to
motherfuckers.
And make sure you take care of your chicken.
In your ass. Don't. Yeah, lather up. Don't think about me while you're doing that. Lather up. Get inside your cheeks. Get inside your cheeks.
Since we're in the Thanksgiving mode, get inside them yams. Oh man, listen, man. See, this is what happens. Like, I'm at a point, right? I'm at a creative standpoint where I am plagued. Where anytime I have downtime, my mind wanders, and I start thinking of ways to always try to improve shit. So I'm over here thinking, and the next thing you know, like I hear something or something happens, and I'm like, wait, oh shit. So I'm always absorbing ideas, and it doesn't matter where I'm at. Like I could be at the doctor, and the doctor's over there like, okay, spread your cheek and lift your sacks. I'm like, okay. I'm like, wait a minute, cheeks and sacks, that could be a segment. Oh shit, damn it. I'm gonna get at that age with the prostate exam, so I'm assuming I get something like that. Your sound's a little feedbackish. Not quite sure if that's a podbean thing or an overall thing, but listen, it's just something I'll just have to worry about mainly if I hear it on the main feed. Cause okay, so.
Oh, you're back now.
Okay, so that must be a podbean thing. I'm gonna give you guys a secret. If you're ever wondering how I'm sounding, right, and Podbean isn't quite working, go to my website, mytsports.net. And I have a live feed directly on there as well on my website. If everything is working well on there, then it's a Podbean thing. I told you guys.
I had to set it up on my phone here. I got the YouTube on the corner with the sound off, and I got you Podbean.
Oh, that's what's up. Thank you. Yeah. So that's all I'll always say. Like if the Podbeans ever, and I know the Podbeans what I like to use for the call in, right? That's our Bluetooth call get in hotline. But yeah, if you ever feel like damn something's off, see how it's working on the website. And if the website sounds perfectly clear, then it's exclusive to Podbean. And if it's exclusive to Podbean, then I can address it, but at least it keeps me at ease. I can, okay, you know what? This isn't a major audio. This is something that's exclusive to Pod, because Podbean gives you more issues than anything else. I don't have so many issues with
I know you like to publish them after the fact sometimes. I just want to let you know when it's happening.
See, that's the thing about the website. The audio that I use to publish is the audio from my website, which is separate from my audio from Podbean. They're two separate audios, ironically.
All right, so I'm gonna just keep you that peace of mind and not bring that up every time.
Yeah, I appreciate that. No, but I do appreciate it because sometimes they're both related. 90% of the times, it's exclusive to Podbean. Because 90% of the times I go back and I grab the audio I'm actually going to use, and I'm like, oh no, things were good. Like I ain't had to spend those 7.5 minutes, talking back and forth and trying to figure out But it happens, and that's what happens when you guys have a Podbean. And as you guys know, I'm AKA the one take wonder, so I don't edit shit. Basically, however you hear the podcast live is how you guys get the replay. I don't edit that shit. We don't adjust anything. Like you get the levels, how the levels were received. Like this is as raw as it gets. This is podcast in its rawest form. You understand? Ain't nobody done stepped on it. Ain't nobody edited it. Ain't nobody done cut shit. Like this ain't been passed through 3 different hoods. Nope. This is pure. And you don't get a pure podcast anywhere else in the world but right here on the Mighty Sports Podcast. Take that shit up the nose and make it hit your membrane.
I can't remember if I told you this last week. I had a friend of mine that's always been bugging me, like, I want to hear the show. I want to hear you on the show. So I sent him the link of one that we were on last week, just shooting the shit. Like it was the one where we were talking about Jay Crowder. Mm-hmm. And I sent him the link after the fact, and he's a big sports fan. He's the kind of guy that asks me everything because he doesn't follow it as closely as I do. And he's like, man, it was actually like funny and informative, and that was sick, man. He's like, keep doing that shit.
And listen, tell him, come join the podcast. Like, if he wants to listen, if he has the time, tell him to come listen live and interact if he wants.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like there's we have open seats and there's always room for engagement. Cause listen, you guys probably don't hear this enough from me, right? So let me go ahead and put this out for my Thanksgiving, what I'm thankful for. You guys don't hear this enough from me. But everybody that I know personally that can touch me, feel me, or talk to me on a daily basis, they know this. I'm very thankful for you guys. SB, Chill Will, KJ, Mark, Poe, every single person that has been a part of this podcast and has interacted from near or afar. I am so thankful for you guys, because when I came to the Podbean platform, this is kind of one of the things that I was searching for in hopes for better engagement. I did not anticipate what I end up getting. I end up looking for, like I said, cause I think of things in a radio sense in a way. So I end up looking for basically like radio engagement, and I basically end up getting remote co-host, and that's even a whole lot better to have somebody to constantly being able to talk to and bounce stuff off of, and not just people that just call. And I do have people that just call in and they say they shit and they drop off, but also, you guys also look out for me. You guys help me with production. Like, I really do. I really am thankful for all you guys. And like I said, you guys don't hear this enough, but everybody that knows me personally in my personal life, they know how much you guys mean to me. So I want to make sure I express that to you guys as well. Very thankful for you guys.
If you hear me sniffling, I don't have a drug problem. I'm tearing up a little bit.
So let's go ahead and switch this up, right? Because I'm not home, right? If you guys can watch the background, right? I'm not home. I'm over here in Orlando, and like Orlando's where my aunt and my uncle's at, and it's a whole nother side of the family. It's my light skinned side of the family, to be honest with you. So light skinned that I forgot that one of my cousin's wife was Puerto Rican and not light skinned. I really did. And so when I went for the food at her house and she had panini and coquito, I was like, oh, that's right, you're Puerto Rican. She was like, yes. I was like, she's like, well, what you thought I was? I was like, don't even worry about it. Like, I got what I need. I was like, I didn't miss a step, because as you guys know, like, my best friends down here in South Florida are Puerto Rican. So I'm always able to get some coquito for Thanksgiving, which is like if you guys don't know, it's a Spanish eggnog in a sense. It's the best way I could describe it for you guys. It's a Spanish eggnog coquito, and then panini is their roast pork, is the way they make their roast pork, right? Or their shredded roast pork, or however they make it, and it's fucking delicious. And in the holiday
like
time,
pulled pork kind of deal.
Yeah, in a way, like a roasted pulled pork. Yeah, it's really fucking good. And like I said, I'm a pork lover, and like I said, as a Jamaican, like, we use a whole different side of the pork. I think like for pork, we use pork shoulders to make what we make for our jerk pork and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So like, this is a whole different.
Same here.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So I don't know if they're using pork shoulders or not, but however they roast it is fucking delicious. But basically, every time you taste every culture's, it could be the same exact slab of meat, but how every culture seasons it is what makes it different, and however they season it is fucking amazing. So the two things I looked for was coquito and panini, and I didn't have to miss that this year because my cousin's wife was Puerto Rican, and I got reminded of that. Oh man! And then can I tell you guys, right, as you guys can see, right, I've been rocking the Nick Cannons lately. Right, I call these the Nick Cannons, like the turbans I have on I call them Nick Cannons. But I've been rocking them.
Hilarious.
I've been rocking these Nick Cannons lately, and on Thanksgiving, I had on a green weed shirt, right? It said "Give me a minute," whatever. And I had on a green, Nick Cannon to match. Can I tell you, my uncle started saying, "You look really good in those Celtic colors. I like how you representing the Celtics." And can I tell you about the third time he said that? I went to my car and I changed. I was like, I'm not gonna sit here and keep giving you the room to keep disrespecting me like this. Like, no.
Let me ask you: Is that the catalyst to you rocking the orange tonight?
Yes and no. Yes and no. Right, and if you guys are looking, I just cut off the Instagram feed, so we're gonna be off of the Instagram because I want to watch my Knicks game. Just to let you guys know, and I'm watching the Knicks game.
Like, is orange just the Friday Nick Cannon color, or is it like I can't keep rocking these Celtics colors?
Well, oh shit, volume. That's my bad. Let's turn this volume down. So it's a little bit of both, to be 100% honest, right? Because I already had plans of. I already had the orange. I'm on vacation, so I brought it strategically already. And I knew today the Knicks were playing, and I wanted to wear it today as the Knicks was playing to channel my orange and blue. And I'm not gonna lie to you, when I told you I went out and changed yesterday, I almost put this on. After you said I look really good in the Celtics, I almost put this particular combination on, and I said no. Can't do that. You're supposed to wear this tomorrow for the Knicks game. Apparently, I should have switched it up because apparently me wearing this is channeling the wrong orange because the Knicks are playing the Phoenix Suns and right now they're losing by 20 points. There's 11 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. I should have had more blue. I don't think it's too late, but
Orange on orange.
yeah, exactly. I'm gonna tell you people for a long ass time because orange is one of my favorite colors. It's another one of the reasons why I've always kind of gravitated towards the Phoenix Suns and always kind of kept the eye on them because they were another orange team. Golden State Warriors back in the day too, before they went blue and yellow. People, you forget they were like that orange and blue as well too, or that gold and blue, but it looked kind of orange.
Years.
Exactly. So I used to kind of gravitate to any orange team. I kind of gravitate, except like for basketball in a way. It never really happened for the Orioles. Denver Broncos a little bit. Like I always kind of I feel like I always kind of know what's going on with the Broncos, and I think that's because they're orange. I don't think the Broncos get covered like that for me to kind of always know what's going on with them. But for some reason, I kind of always know what's going on with the Broncos, and it could be strictly because they're orange. Listen,
I had a lot of years where the Bills were terrible, so I had to pick someone else to root for in the playoffs, and I was always a big Peyton Manning guy, so I followed the Broncos pretty close.
Listen, much respect to Peyton Manning. I remember living in Indiana, and that's the one person I refused to listen. Listen to me when I say this. I was bold enough to boo Reggie Miller. I would never boo Peyton Manning in Indiana ever. I can boo Reggie Miller as he's getting the keys to the city in Indiana during an Indy 500. But I refuse to boo Peyton Manning anywhere in Indiana. You'll fuck around and get castrated. They won't even kill you. They'll castrate you and let you live.
Sorry to sidetrack. Are you surprised at how good that Monday Night Football show is with him and Eli?
No, not at all. While I go on show, you see my sugars over here calling me as I'm doing the podcast. What's going on, sugars? How you doing? What's up?
How you doing?
I'm good. Just let you know everybody in the whole entire world can hear you. SB, Chill Will, Hung, AKA.
What's up,
Actually, that's my sugars, by the way. That's my girlfriend. I call her sugars because she's sweet as fuck. But none of y'all guys would know that, so you just have to go by,
First I'm sour, then I'm sweet.
Well, she's sour first thing in the morning, right? Like for them first 30 minutes, and then the rest of the 23 and a half hours, she's sweet.
We got something common. I used to be sour Brandon, so we got something common.
And now he's sweet Brandon. which I have to remind guys if this is the first time I listen to the podcast.
That was Mark?
No, that was Sweet Brandon. Mark isn't on the podcast tonight. I got SB, I got Sweet Brandon on the podcast with me, and Chill Will was on the podcast, but he's currently working right now for anybody that's in the I think he's in Cleveland, Ohio area. But yeah, Cleveland area. Go ahead and check out chillwill_CLE and go check out what they're doing. I think they're having a karaoke night right now if you're in that area. So go ahead and go check them fellas out. That should be popping. I be seeing them, yo. Yo, them old heads. Damn.
I'm sorry,
Damn.
I got school in the morning, so I gotta go to sleep soon.
It's okay, Shugs. I understand. No
How
problem.
was your Thanksgiving, Shugs?
Oh, my Thanksgiving? It was good. I just didn't have my boyfriend with me because he's in Orlando. How was your Thanksgiving?
My day was good. You take a Black Friday. You take his credit card for Black Friday to make him pay for not being there.
Jesus.
What you said about Black Friday?
He ain't say nothing about Black Friday.
Oh, my bad.
SB, you're killing me here.
Sorry, I blew up your spot.
The hell? I'm sorry.
I know this is a special edition. It's coming from Orlando, so I don't want to interrupt.
You're not interrupted. You're part of the show now. You can't interrupt. Like, once I answered that
I
phone.
interrupt 3 days a week.
Yeah. Once I answered the phone, you weren't interrupted. I made you part of the show.
Oh, well, I'm about to get high. I don't know how much part of the show I'm going to be in a minute.
Well, part of this show was me getting high as well. So it's all included in content. They know what happens here on the MyT Sports Podcast. This quickly turns into the Drunk Uncles and Drunk Aunties podcast. And
I know drunk auntie. Don't call me no auntie. That's not a good thing. When you're in Broward and you grew up in Broward, you know that being called the auntie is not the best thing to be called. Anyways, I was in the bathroom for like 30 minutes and I did my own eyebrows, babe.
oh, nice. I thought you was gonna say using the bathroom for 30 minutes taking a shit, but that's something that I do. Yeah, it takes.
I don't think I would want to broadcast that on podbean and whatever platforms you're live on. Right
Oh,
now.
I have no problem. I have no problem like sharing this about myself. They know this about me already. Yeah, folks. It takes like.
Yourself.
I know. I know. We here now. Look at her. She rolling up. She like.
See how aggravating he is.
She's like.
See how aggravating he is?
I done already had enough of him. You should see how aggressively she pulled the paper out of that. She was like, I done already had enough of him. I did. You get the fuck out of the paper. I even heard it too. It sounded like you was unsheathing a sword. Oh man, that's funny.
What's the latest with sports, babe?
What's the latest with sports? You know what? Let's go ahead and get on to our Knicks talk. I have just a little bit of Knicks talk. But you know, wherever I'm home, wherever I'm afar, wherever I'm near or abroad, I always stay with my Knicks talk. As Chill will say, DJ MyT, drop that beat.
Where did you Did he travel with you?
I'm sorry. If you just now popped into the podcast, you're going to have to go back and listen to the earlier podcast of Chill Will and the DJ of Chill Will making fun of the DJ of the podcast. Oh, man. Okay, so we know we got that Knicks talk. Let's stay here with our Knicks talk. The New York Knicks currently right now hold a record of 10-8. They are second in their division. But unfortunately, second in the division means that you're seventh in your conference with a winning record. I told myself something right before Thanksgiving, and I'm starting to incorporate a little bit more. I think you kind of heard me with this other day, SB, and I kind of said, you know what? I have to start taking everything with the Knicks with a negative light. I'm reverting back to Knicks of the past. It's like I had that one good year where everything was roses and rain and rainbow semen, right? But I'm sorry, cinnamon sugar semen. How do you like your semen? All right, but everything was all good last year. She was sweet just a week ago, but then this year, nothing feels right to me. Like everything feels like it's just going downhill, and the Knicks have not yet produced a losing record this year. They've had nothing but a winning record. They won their first game, and they've held a winning record the whole entire year. But yet, I keep feeling like it's a woe is me. But here we are, 10-8. Better than the Lakers, better than we were last year. Now, the teams that
we're saying, expectations.
I know. So what I had to tell myself, I had to start telling myself that my anger management therapist tells me, always assume positive intent. Just because that motherfucker looked at you or looked like he was looking at you and raised the eyebrow doesn't mean that the eyebrow was a negative thing, right? You don't got to go cut off somebody's eyebrow because they looked at you with a, like always assume positive intent, right?
Is your anger management therapist the same person as your DJ?
No. I actually have a real anger management therapist from the VA. It's some PTSD shit. Right?
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. He's suffering with PTSD.
oh yeah.
Crazy as hell.
Oh yeah. What's going on, Guido? Come on. So,
You suffer from insanity?
I oh my god. Like, you know what it really is? I just like I need to go like to like a wrestling school so I could like hit somebody with like a steel chair like once every like 3 months, and I think like all of my anger management problems would go away.
You didn't discover you had an anger problem until you met me.
Listen, she said it, not me.
That's when
You know what they say? The women are the cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
Oh, wait, say that again, Sugars?
I said when we got into a relationship, that's when your ass started seeking help.
Listen, and then as SB just said, women are the cause and the solution to all of your problems.
Okay, I think I second that. Yeah.
Listen, I definitely third that. And I'm seeing likes coming in all over the place. Actually, it looks like that this may be the most popular comment we have ever made in our podcast history. So, the New York Knicks, right?
SB at Gmail.
Oh, wait. Say that again?
Hate comments to SB at gmail.com.
You gotta send SB at gmail.com. Oh, what is that? Oh, damn, your spliff is smoking. Like, yo, I'm watching the smoke go for like lift from your spliff, and that shit looks righteous.
Yeah, because it's that,
Here's a new quote.
it's, what is it called? I'm about to tell you right now.
Cigaweed? Oh,
No, it's called Grease Monkey.
grease monkey? When the fuck you get a whoa, pause. I'm offended now. What the
I
hell?
went and got a Grease Monkey today. Ooh, $50.
Oh, did you go to your person or my person? Or our person? Our person, okay. I forgot. I no longer have a person. It's our person now. Like, you have your person, and then I have our person.
Now, you last resort now.
Alright. So,
The next talk, my bad.
no, it's okay. Listen, if this one thing that this podcast is definitely known for by now is definitely derailing very easily.
What? All these sidebars and shit.
Listen, we sideball like an alcoholic. Yeah,
Take a shot.
you should take a shot.
I am.
So,
We've had that Knicks talk. We've had that Nick Cannon talk. We
did have that Nick Cannon talk. Oh man. So the New York Knicks, right? They're not surprisingly behind 6 teams. And when I tell you the 6 teams, there's probably really only 1 or 2 teams here that you felt, damn. Shit, I got distracted, folks. I got super distracted. Hey, how you doing?
Those mockeries are really kicking in.
Listen, hey, you know.
You got that Nips talk.
You know, that's a hell of a guess. Wait, let me make sure that you can't see anything out of a reflection behind me or anything.
You didn't pause the podcast, so I know it's not that lip stop.
Cause that was one hell of a guess. Oh man. So let's keep with that Knicks talk. The Knicks are not surprisingly behind 16. There may be 2 teams out of the top 6 that you may look at and say, I'm kind of surprised they're behind these 2 teams. But based off how they've played this year, based off how one played last year, you're not so surprised. But you still look at them maybe as the 2 teams that you hope that the Knicks can hopefully jump over. Maybe. So obviously in the first place in the East right now, we have the Brooklyn Nets that they should have been there the whole entire season. They should continue to be there the whole entire season. With or without Kyrie, they need to figure out how to get their shit together. James Harden, we see that James Harden is still is. Actually, let's ask this question before I say this. Is James Harden struggling the most from the NBA's new rule changes?
Sam, I don't think there's any doubt.
I thought so too. And it was funny, right? Because I remember when the rule changes came, there were a group of individuals that they said were possibly gonna that I shouldn't say that they said was gonna possibly struggle. The NBA social media world, or the sports social media world, started targeting 4 players. Let's put this in proper verbiage. The NBA social media world started targeting 4 players the moment this rule change came out. One of them was James Harden. One of them was Trae Young. One of them was Chris Paul. And one of them was Stephen Curry. Luka kind of got a pass somehow. But let's stay with those 4. We kind of see James Harden and Trae Young struggling with this. Chris Paul, I don't know if Chris Paul is struggling or if Chris Paul is just old age, because Chris Paul hasn't looked any different than last year, to be honest with you. But the one guy that's not struggling, who is really giving the big middle finger, like you can go ahead and kiss the big kibosh, right? The golden child himself, Stephen Curry. He ain't struggling one bit with this. Is he actually? I haven't checked lately. Is he still leading the league in scoring?
I'm not sure. I could check in 1 second.
Yeah, but let's know, like, with the new rule change, at one point in time, Stephen Curry was leading the league in scoring.
So can I throw it back to Harden for 1 second? I just looked this up.
Yeah, sort of. But let's go back to James Harden because those are the two stars. Can we talk about people's offensive genius and how we reveled Stephen Curry for a while? Remember, James Harden came for a while, and people were kind of looking like, damn, he got these moves. NBA makes one rule change, and it kind of shut down his whole game or made him struggle. Is he as great as an offensive player that we thought he was? Go ahead and talk and give us a little bit more light on to that one Jimmy Harden.
I'm looking at his averages, free throws attempted. So if you throw out last year's a bit weird. He was fat in Houston, and then he was second, third fiddle on Brooklyn. So if you take out last year, the 6 seasons prior to that, he averaged over 10 free throws attempted per game. This season, 6.9.
What was he last year, though? I'm curious about last year.
Last year, 7.3.
Okay. So he's since he has basically been the man, right? And actually, you know what? If you have it in front of you, what was his numbers in Oklahoma City those years? Because he went to the free throws a lot of times back then too. But he was like 6-man back then. What was his numbers back then?
I'm just trying to look at his minutes. So a lot less minutes per game. With the rookie years, 3, 4, and 6. His 3 years in OKC. Okay,
so the last year when he was basically getting starting minutes as a 6-man of the year, he was putting up about 6. And then when he got to Houston, he completely...
His first year in Houston, 10.2.
That's a big drop-off. Because basically right now we're saying that he has resorted back to his bench role without being able to be favored with the NBA's contact rules. He's a bench player. Like you hear, like, I'm not saying this. I'm just saying the numbers may hint towards such this early in the season. Because we see who we.
His last full year in Houston, he averaged 11.8 free throws attempted per game.
So the fact we're talking about 3 whole trips that is no longer being made just because you can't do stupid shit like the rip through anymore. You can't do that, right? Which he became infamous for. And then also now what do you want to call this? The stop short, the emergency brakes. You know, when you hit the emergency, like whatever the fuck.
Slide.
Some shit like that, or wait a minute, and I'm not trying to damn it,
Skid mark.
I'm just gonna say this: the Asian stop sign. Now let me explain this, right? Because I've seen videos where in Asia you kind of have to have and I don't know if this is true. They made it seem as if you have to have a not a webcam, but a dash cam on your car because there are a lot of incidences of the hitting of pedestrians, but you aren't hitting pedestrians. You're stopping short of hitting them, and what the pedestrians do, they jump on your car and act as if you've hit them to get a claim, and if you don't have that dash cam, you have no way of fighting it.
With that Starsky and Hutch. And
So when I say the Asian stop sign, this is what I'm referring to, because the ball handler stops and it has nothing to do with the defender, and then sometimes they'll even jump back in the defender to draw the contact. So this is what I mean by the Asian stop sign. Okay, this had nothing to do with how the stereotype from back in the days of Asian drivers. This is just actually of something that I saw that may be taking place in Asia as we currently speak. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But hey, like I said, the video made it seem as if. And that's what I'm going by. Asian stop sign.
That's why you can't make that joke on Twitter, because I don't have enough characters for you to explain to me. Guys, sees an Asian stop sign.
Yeah, because listen, I have way too many Asian friends, and it's way too much sensitive of time to make them think that I'm going after Asians. Listen, stop it right now. And like, listen, at least
I was a part of Linsanity. I was there.
I loved Linsanity. I wanted all of that. Listen, like I had a time frame in my life, like most people, where I was really into Asian women. I love Bruce Lee. Listen, just 2 weeks ago or just 3 days ago. Actually, no, let me stop now. I'm playing this in my head with how this would sound if somebody else was saying this using other things and it's ain't sounding right. Okay, I'm pausing. I'm gonna pause here.
You sound like the white dude that says he's got a black friend.
Yes. That's exactly how I realized I stood in the south. Because I was just about to say.
I saw Rush Hour 2 in theaters twice. I didn't see it for Chris Tucker. I was a big Jackie Chan guy.
Just 3 days ago, I had I was craving chicken lo mein, and I had that, like. And I realized that, like, you know what?
Shinsuke Nakamura is great.
Even though I thought he had ADD, and I think he does, or he has I thought he had Tourette's. That's what I thought he had. I thought he had Tourette's, and one of my friends pointed out he actually does have something of that nature.
My guy just started bending everybody now.
Listen, just let you know, I will use everything as a reference that I can think of, and I don't mean offense to anybody. Listen, if I'm trying to offend you, you'll know, because I'll use a different tone. I'll be I'll be very boisterous with my offensive. Because if I'm going to offend you, I want you to fully know that I am coming after your head. Like I'm not gonna, as my girlfriend likes to say, I'm not gonna sugarcoat my offensiveness. My girlfriend thinks I sugarcoat a lot of shit, which is so funny that I call her sugars and she thinks that I sugarcoat shit. I sugarcoat stuff. Yeah,
I don't know if I told you this, but Norm Macdonald, he was on Howard Stern.
Mm-hmm.
Have I told you this show before?
And I do sugarcoat. Just to let you guys know. But not the way that she says I do. This is why I love wordplay. I'm sorry. I love to play with my words almost as much I love to play. What you about to say, SB?
Tell me if I told you this before. It was Norm Macdonald after the Louis C.K. controversy. Have I told you this story?
I can't remember, but tell us again for content purposes anyway.
So he goes on the Howard Stern show, and he goes on some talk show, and he's talking about how Louis C.K. is still his friend, and he thinks people should forgive people more for their mistakes and stop canceling everybody all the time. And then everyone comes after Norm Macdonald, so he goes on Howard Stern, and he goes, I don't think what he did was a good thing. I mean, you'd have to be rich. He stops himself. You'd have to have Down syndrome. He thought that made it sound better.
Was he about to say that he had to be retorted?
Yeah. But he stopped himself halfway through the word, and he goes, you'd have to have Down syndrome or something. Like, he thought that was, like, more politically correct to say.
And it wasn't?
And it was probably worse.
Oh, damn.
So this is Norm Macdonald, my favorite comedian who ever lived. Probably the sweetest man in the world. Canadian, so you know he's polite. And he just fucked up by trying to be too polite and made himself dug himself a huge hole. His show got taken off Netflix and shit.
Basically, what he was trying to say, like he looked like he's slow, like, but he can't say, like, he's trying to feel like he has a mental disease. Is that the way you're supposed to say it now? You look like he got a brain disease. But you'll have to have
doesn't matter how you say it now.
But you know what happens now?
Everything is wrong.
But no, because and what it is that, and I understand what it is though. You know what happens is that in a real conversation where, like I said, where there's no comedy at all, you no longer could use another classification of individuals to try to describe what you're trying to say, because there's actual words for what you're trying to say. There's no reason to throw a person or a group of people underneath the bus. You know what I mean? Or try, and I get it, because I see all the because listen, I see all the time, like, listen, I'm fucking retorted. And I said, and my girlfriend, like, yo, I do dumb shit. I'm like, yo, I'm fucking retorted. And I guess you guys are like, yo, what is he? He must be fucking retorted. But he guys are like, you know what? He must not be in his right frame of mind. That's what he's supposed to say at this day and age. And I'm not blaming him. I'm sorry.
I would see people get outraged about shit on Twitter that people said, and I'd be like, man, that's not cool. But you see it enough times, and you go, what was the context in which he said that word, he said that thing?
Yeah, so that's the weird thing now, is that I get it, because nobody wants who they are or what they are to be used as a representation for something that is negative, especially if you can't control what you are, you know what I mean, or control that thing about you. Like
someone walking into a comedy club, doesn't know who the comedian is, just walks in, sits down, hears an offensive joke, stands up and runs outside. You won't believe what this person said.
But see, that's what I said. In a real conversation, you can't do that. In comedy, I'm sorry. Once we get in certain entertainment realms, entertainment things, or for comedy purposes, I can fully understand. So, like I said, in a regular conversation,
apologize for that shit when he got kicked off the award show. He's like, I'm not apologizing.
Yeah, like, put it this way. In a real conversation, he has to say something to the lines, okay, like he must not have been in his right frame of mind if he's gonna say something like that. But in a comedy skit, like, that dude must have been fucking retarded to think that that's comedy. You know what I mean? Like, so I get it. Like, you now comedy is where we supposed to save most of our vulgar talks. And that's kind of what comedy has always been, is where we freely talk vulgarish. But, you know, comedy is comedy. Some people might get offended by comedy. Listen, I've been offended by...
talked about seeing a documentary on Alabama football. And I think it was Bear Bryant, somebody that allowed black players on the team. He's like, I thought it was a really inspiring story until I found out that shit was in 1972.
Wait, what? 1970? Wait, if Bear Bryant was allowing black players on his team in 1972, that is kind of inspiring. That still would have been during a controversial time.
I mean, way too fucking late still.
Yeah, I mean, if he was doing it in 1992, finally. 72, that's still kind of borderline-ish. At least that's how I feel. Yeah. Like, I feel like 72, like, they were still trying to keep, you know, they were still fighting, or still trying to find a way to accept, you know, togetherness and desegregation. At least that's how I feel. Like, I wasn't around in 72. I don't know.
It's a decade past the height of Ali.
Yeah, yeah. So, like, I don't know. Yeah, exactly. But see, America is so fucked up like that because they always been behind. Like I said, I'm born in 81, so I don't know what the fuck was going on in 72. And then, like I said, and in 72, my whole entire family was in Jamaica, so like I can't even get the history from them. Like, so like I'm probably the worst. Like I don't know any first person experience from family members to be able to even tell you how 72 looked. Honestly, when you ask me about 72, I picture disco balls and cocaine. Like, you have to remind me that there was that there was American racism going on, because how I think about 72 is like, wait a minute, when was Woodstock? Oh no, that's not 70. It's actually Woodstock 72. When the fuck is Woodstock? No, 70.
69.
Is that what it is? Okay, so yeah.
See, I was born in 92, so.
Yeah. Bell bottoms, disco balls, and cocaine. Like, that's what I think about 72. Now, since we're talking, okay, let's get back. Let's get back into some Knicks talk. Actually, no, I don't want to do Knicks talk. I want to do some Knicks talk and Jace, right? In a weird way. There's a free agent out, and he's not a free agent. There's a guy getting no burn. As we just talked about James Harden in Houston. There's actually a guy in Houston getting no burn whatsoever. Mr. John to the window to the wall, because he was one of the fastest players with the ball in his hand from end to end on the court. Now, based off of Houston's current direction, where they are in a rebuild mode and they want to be able to get their young players playing experience, they aren't playing John Wall. Not because they don't think that he's talented to play, just because it's not the direction that the team is going in. Now, we're both fans of two particular teams. So, I want to know about our each team first. And then I want to do a little bit, where can he fit? Because he's not going to last all season there. Like, we can see we can see the writing on the wall, right? I didn't mean that to happen. That's why I had to giggle before I said that, because it came to me and I realized what the fuck was about to happen. I think my brain just works like that naturally. I don't think I can even help it. Like, I really think my brain did that naturally without me even trying. Like, goddamn you, brain. Why are you so pleasing to me?
That radio host made that wordplay comes to you. What are you thinking about?
Man, even before radio, that I was a guy that used to love writing poetry just so I can get the wordplay. I love wordplay. Is one of the things that was probably instilled in me by my elders from the very beginning. Is learn how to articulate yourself so that nobody could ever question what the fuck you're trying to explain to them. So I've always really enjoyed. That's the reason why I'm so big on my nieces and nephews. I've always making them use the dictionary, and if they're in the dictionary and they're looking for a word and they come across a word that they don't know why looking for a word, and you have to start looking for that word. So looking up one word may cause them to have to look up 12 different words sometimes.
I love that shit. It's like a good pun, even if they're shaking their head while they're doing it, a good pun will make everybody laugh.
Listen, no, but yeah, definitely, and I see how, and believe it or not, like I know how it's working out for the youngest one, right? Because she is taking a liking to wordplay. But my oldest nephew, that dictionary exercise, right, and that love of wordplay led him to be a really decent rapper. You know what I mean? You
I was just gonna say that. Listen to rap growing up. Like that's how I picked that shit up myself.
Exactly. Listening to rap, listening to comedy, listening to battle rap, like all of that. Like this. Like once you get out of the books and you start looking for ways how people are using words. That's why I'm a huge poetry fan. Shakespeare is one of my dudes to this day. Like I still use the phrase, "There's a method to my madness." Like I love that phrase, because it literally describes the retarded shit that you happen to do sometimes in your life. There's a method to my madness. Don't question what I do. Don't understand it makes sense. We gonna make it. And again, that's what's that? What was that? A Hamlet quote? Hamlet? Was that Hamlet? No, not Macbeth. Shit, now I'm forgetting. But it's the one.
Method to my madness.
Yeah, Method to my madness. Mel Gibson ended up redoing that movie. Did he redo that movie? Was that a Mel Gibson? Did Mel Gibson end up redoing that movie at some point? And he played the crazy son. Is it Ophelia? Was the crazy son? Shit. Oh damn. Damn. That's a whole different thing now. Okay, I am confusing myself now completely because I may have. Because you guys know how my brain works sometimes. Now you see why my brain is so fucking jumbled. It has all of that shit in there from all fucking genres. And then shit gets twisted and it got stirred. Because I really just literally explained this perfectly to my sugars like 3 days ago. And now I think I may have just combined 4 different Shakespearean plays in one.
So you were right the first time. I had no idea. It's from Hamlet.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay. But yeah, Method to My Madness is from a Hamlet play. And what it is that there's a son that goes crazy or pretends to go crazy because his father was murdered, and he believed that his father was murdered by his uncle, who's trying to marry his mother and take over his father's kingdom. Crazy shit, right?
Jerry Springer.
Right? That shit is wild. So this is what Shakespeare wrote about, and in that the son is going crazy, right? And he's acting crazy so that he can go behind the scenes and he can spy on people and he can maneuver the way he wants to. And then his best friend hits him up and he's like, "Yo, B, like you're fucking going crazy. Like your mom is worried about you. I'm worried about you. Everybody's fucking worried about you." And then he breaks character for like 5 minutes and he's like, "Listen." He tells him what's going. Like, I think this happened. I think this happened. I think this happened. But I'm not crazy. There's a fucking method to my madness. I gotta maneuver like this so I can get to what the fuck I want. And he said, "After this, you ain't gonna see me act sane again. Got it, B? Bippity bippity blue. I'm a crazy mother fool."
I think that one's Macbeth.
Is that Macbeth?
Bibbidi boppity boo.
But that's what I remember. The method for my madness, and that's the scene that goes around it. And that's still like one of the biggest shits that ever stood out to me. And then there's obviously like Caesar's death and the speech by his nephew when he comes into town to give his obituary. Like that's a fucking speech that you need to hear as well. Like that. Sorry, I'm going off the rail. Like I told you, wordplay, Shakespeare. Like to me, he's the father of rap. In a weird way.
Isn't that crazy? That shit was like I have no idea actually. 300-400 years ago, 500 years ago.
It was. And then the other part of it about Shakespeare too was that the verbiage was so different back then, right? So while also having a love for what he's saying, you also had to kind of, because they wrote it, the way they wrote back then is kind of how we read. It's kind of like how the Bible was written, kind of shit. Thy and thee and thith and myth, you know what I mean? And so some things you have to like really decipher. Okay, what the fuck was he saying here? And you're like, oh, okay. So in the deciphering of the wordplay, there's another puzzle of trying to decipher. Oh, what is this word in current time, and what does this mean? Yeah, poetry is the shit. Like that's. I think I describe poetry. Period. Like, but so wordplay. Loved it all. And how did we get so far off track?
That's the beauty of this podcast. Like you said, 51% sports.
Like 49% everything else. But 100% guaranteed to be a good time.
49% bullshit.
So, I know we were talking about John Wall, right? Yes, folks, we were talking about John.
So when Shugs called and said she was starting disrupting the podcast, I'm like, I disrupt this podcast 3 days a week.
Oh, man. John Wall is going to end up being released before free agent. He's going to, you know how the NBA does. He's going to be one of those guys, he's going to hit free agency, you're going to see if he clears waivers, and then he'll be on the market. And then what's going to end up happening, John Wall's $28 million, $32 million contract, whatever it is. 'Cause I know he has a ridiculous contract, and that's the reason why it's always made him hard to be traded. Houston's going to end up releasing him, which now means that any team is going to be able to pick him up for waivers for like peanuts, while Houston pays off the rest of his contract. So now my question is, where does he go? If you're Toronto, do you try to get John Wall? SB?
Absolutely not.
No, I didn't think so. Right? It doesn't fit well, and I also don't think he may want to go there. I'm gonna sidebar, right, as we always do around this time, and by around this time I mean during this point of any conversation where it feels like it's getting good. SB, do you ever listen to All the Smoke podcast with Matt Barnes and Steve Jackson?
Yeah, absolutely I do.
Did you hear the Fred Van Fleet episode?
No, I've been meaning to. I just saw the other day that it was out.
Go listen. It made me respect Fred Van Fleet even more. And I like making fun of him, but I had a low level respect for him, because of how he came up. it made me have a whole nother different kind of like respect for Fred VanVleet after that episode. I do plug their podcast a lot because they're just one of those cultural podcasts. I think almost everybody listens to it at this point in time. But yeah, go check out that episode. Listen, as a Toronto Raptors fan, it is a definite must listen. And his coming to the NBA story about Chris Paul is fucking hilarious.
But even off the court, like the way he's built his brand is inspiring. Like his bet on yourself.
Oh no, 100. Listen, 100%.
But he did. He when he did his tour before like his draft workouts, he's like, if you're not taking me first round, please don't draft me, because he wanted to sign where he wanted to sign if he wasn't going to get that first round deal.
You're really gonna like that podcast. Yeah, listen to that podcast. You're really gonna like it. You're really gonna enjoy it. And it sounds like you know some of the stuff.
You talking about Kyle?
Does he talk about Kyle? He talks about Kyle a little bit. He does mention Kyle. He may have made me respect Kyle a little bit too. And I think after all these years, I think other people are making me respect Kyle Lowry, because for some reason, like, I know what they say about Kyle Lowry, but when I see him on the court, none of that. I don't see none of that shit. Like, I don't know why, but when people talk about Kyle Lowry, when I look at him play, I don't see. And then when I see him having to take these breaks, right, where he has to go where he disappears in big moments, and he always has to go to the back, like in these big moments. I don't know what for. Like right when the moments are getting bigger, he has to go take a bathroom break. Like, them shit just never sit well with me. So I know how other people feel about Kyle.
I'll give you the example of the two sides of Kyle Lowry.
I'm listening. I'm all ears.
You hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So our championship run, round one game run against the Magic, Kyle had 0 points on like 0 of 9 shooting. And everyone came out with their takes. Oh, playoff Lowry. If you watch Game 6 against the Warriors where we clinched, the first 3 minutes of that game, I think the Raptors go up 9-0 on 3 Kyle Lowry threes.
Yeah, Kyle.
Put that shit to bed.
Listen, you know what they say, winning a championship really helps. And even sometimes, like I said, winning a championship doesn't help for some people. Like for me, sometimes winning a championship doesn't matter. But I'm gaining some respect for Kyle Lowry. And I'm telling you, I'm me saying this because he's one of those people I had no respect for. I had no respect for Kyle Lowry. I remember when he was leaving, wherever the hell he was leaving, and it was possibly he could come to the Knicks. And I was like, yeah, I don't want Kyle Lowry at all. Like, and even seeing him hold down
when we first got him, like 2012.
Yeah, I think that was then. Yeah, he was supposed to come to the Knicks. I remember, but also, who knows how honestly he was supposed to come to the Knicks? Because I end up learning everybody was supposed to come to the Knicks. Everybody used the Knicks as trade bait to be able to get their price up just to like $5 more million.
Even when we got him from Houston, the story in the media was, oh, he's a problem in the locker room. Oh, he's got a bad attitude.
No, see, I didn't hear that at all.
That was all in the papers here.
I always knew Kyle Lowry was a hard worker. He was always a hard worker, but his diet was bad. That's what I used to hear about him. He's a hard worker, but he has a horrible diet. And when I watch his gameplay, like, his gameplay still doesn't translate to me as something consistent sometimes. But sometimes there's something to see about, like, he's more of a leader than I thought he was. And I guess that's the other thing about it. Like, he's way more of a leader than I thought he was. But like I said, if you have a good work habit but bad diet, you have a good work habit. You just eat like shit until you learn how to eat better. And I guess by seeing that, I was like,
lead the league in charges 5 years in a row. You got to have a little bit of weight on
Yeah.
you.
So maybe like it was constantly like seeing, like, I'm like, okay, you're doing like what's like a perfect yin and yang. Like, you work hard as fuck, but you eat like shit. So you're not really able to get yourself in shape, you know what I mean, visually. But I know the kind of shape that he's in. Like, you're an athletic, chubby guy. Like, you're Draymond. You're a smaller Draymond, at this point, in a sense, right? and I guess like I didn't really
100%. Like he's a dog.
Yeah, so I didn't quite see that then, and I'm seeing that more now. I only kept on seeing the cons of so when I kept on doing the pros and cons, the cons were way too glaring to me, and it was overshadowing his pros. And now, as you see him later on in his career, you realize obviously his pros are a little bit more over glaring than his cons are. But I'm still stuck in my cons a little bit. But I'm telling you how I feel about it. But as I keep as I keep seeing him more now, I see him now in Miami, and that has helped change some shit about my view of him. And then I heard the Fred Van Fleet, and then I keep hearing other shit feeding. I'm like, and hear other people talk about him. I'm like, okay, these cons now are really starting to pop a whole lot more. And these pros are starting to pop a whole lot more, and all of these cons are starting to seem like mute points, almost. So I'm getting the respect for him. I just have a way that I've felt about him for years, but he's gaining my respect. Even though he's no longer in Toronto and he's in Miami and he's with my enemy, but that's how you know somebody is. What's going on, Blue? I don't know which Blue that is, right? But what's going on, Blue? And the reason why I'm saying I don't know which Blue that is because I actually know a Blue in real life. But I doubt that's the Blue that I know in real life that's actually joining my podcast. Even though this person has 0 hearts beside them, so it could make possible sense that Blue is actually making their very first account, but I doubt it.
What the fuck?
Shut up, Shooks.
Oh my god.
Hey, listen, I'm just showing you. Listen. Hey, I'm telling you what's in front of me. I told you on this platform, I share almost everything about me. I don't. The great thing about me is that I don't really have any humility. Like I don't. Like I'm very comfortable with myself, and there's not really much.
Like to swing your penis in the window so that all the neighbors that block your nice view across the street can see you.
I don't think everybody heard that. You want to repeat yourself?
No.
Oh.
I heard enough. Your B Rabbit is the final scene.
Listen, can I tell you, I have lived at my current location for about a decade now, and not one day have I ever lowered my blinds. Ever. Let's give you guys an idea of what she's trying to say here.
I had to fucking remember that shit while I was here by myself. I was like, oh, hell no.
I never lower. I think one of my neighbors have resorted to always keeping their blinds closed because of that reason.
You have the washcloth in one hand and the Dr. Teal's in the other.
Oh man, no. By the time that happens, it's either baby or lotion time. Like they get a complete show. Oh man.
That's what I said to my LL Cool J podcast.
Oh man. So John Wall, right? Yes, folks, we're still talking about John Wall. John Wall. Should he? I'm trying to question should he, because obviously he's gonna leave. I'm trying to think which, because I'm trying to think for the Knicks as a point. I'm like, would I take him on the Knicks? And in a weird sense, where the Knicks are currently at now, I think I would. Because to me, you can't have enough attackers, slashers, or scorers if you're the Knicks at this point in time. Their problem right now is sometimes they can't find offense. Well, if you add John Wall to that offense to go along with... Damn, Derrick Rose. I don't know. I drew a blank. I was thinking Kimber Walker and Derrick Rose at the same time, and their names were mashing together in my head, and it was not coming out right. Because I'm like, this won't even make sense. It's one of the few times it was not going to make sense. But we have Kimber Walker, we have Derrick Rose, right? You add John Wall to those two other veterans, and now you add them with Emmanuel Quickly, and you're talking about a backcourt and some kind of veteran lead, especially if John Wall buys into playing defense, which he's gonna have to. And if he buys into playing defense, that means we may see John Wall get in the best shape that he has been in the last 5 years. Right? Like he may almost come into like the kind of shape that he may have been in his first like 2-3 years in the league. If he comes to the Knicks. So in a weird way, and I have to explain this, guys, to you. Under other circumstances, I would not be a fan of John Wall coming to the Knicks. Under other circumstances, if you were talking about last year when they only had Julius Randle, and you were talking about possibly giving away draft picks or collateral to get John Wall, no, I'm not trying to do that. But in a world where John Wall could hit the waiver market, right, or the waiver wire, and you pick him up for peanuts while Houston has to finish paying off the rest of his contract, we know what we're talking. We know what kind of contracts we're talking about here. I'm all for the Knicks adding him to the team, because then when he gets there, he's gonna have to get in shape, and so we don't have to rush, and also we don't have to rush and play him. We can let him get in shape. Slowly get him back into the lineup and see where he fits alongside Derrick Rose, Kemba Walker, Emmanuel Quickly, and Evan Fournier, as well as the other rookies. Because, like I said, I know the Knicks. I know we're not in win a championship now mode, but you can't tell me, Knicks and Knicks fans of the East, that the Knicks don't have as much a chance of winning the East as Brooklyn, Miami, Chicago, Washington, Charlotte, Milwaukee, Philly, Atlanta, or Boston. You tell me that they don't have just about, not the same, approximately just about amount of chance to win the East as they do. Not a championship, the East. And make it to the big stage.
You just mentioned one of the teams you just mentioned is where I think he's gonna go. If I put my Stephen A. Smith hat on.
Well, here comes the next portion of it. Where does he go? Because obviously, if he's gonna go somewhere, he's gonna want to go somewhere that has an opportunity to either win a championship or where he just feels comfortable. Whether it's so it's either gonna be, because obviously, if he gets released the way that we're saying, it's not gonna be about money. It's gonna be where he could win a championship or which team or market he feels comfortable being in. Now, every team that I just mentioned a while ago, those are basically the 9 other teams outside of New York that are in playoff contention. Now, when I say, let me rephrase that, postseason contention, which includes the playoffs and play-ins, obviously, as you guys know. Now, SB, you say that you feel like he may go to one of these teams. Which team catches your eye?
So a team that's rebuilding has no need for him. Or what's the point of adding somebody that, if you're trying to get a good draft pick, you don't want a guy like John Wall. If you're a contending team, like the Nets or if you're the Nets or Miami, you're probably not going to want them to mess with the chemistry. But if you're a team that's kind of middle of the road that might be looking for someone to push you over the edge, that might have some young players that John can mentor a little bit, the Charlotte Hornets. You had a balls to the wall backcourt.
I can see that, and if he accepts a veteran, come off the bench, I get a role, or maybe even I could play alongside him at sometimes, because the bald boy is a 6'7" point guard. We can play beside each other, and we have 2 guards that pushes the ball and pushes the pace, looks for alley-oops, look for the open man. You know,
Mel's a shooter, quick on the trigger. John Wall's not really known for.
Yeah, he's a good slasher, finisher. He's like.
Wall can run a point. Wall plays the 2.
Well, like I said, no, they both run point, because like I said, this is gonna be the beauty of that team, and because listen, Melo's there to be point. Melo is there to be point, be the primary point. But now you have 2 points. You can have either one push the pace. You can have either one bring the ball up, right? When you have John Wall push the ball up,
4 minutes left in a 3-point game.
4 minutes left in the 4 minutes left in the 3-point game is going to be scenario, right? So if I get the ball up and John Wall has it and he sees immediately that he could possibly slash and get straight to the lane, then go ahead and do that, right? But he's gonna be thinking either pass or slash. But same thing with Melo. Melo gets that ball and he comes off the rim. It's a 3-point. It's a 3-point game. We got 4 minutes left, right? We don't have to force the three. But Melo sees that when he crosses half court, that because of how he's pushing there, that there's leading off of him, and his man hasn't really slashed quite open yet. He pulls up for the open three, bam, there goes, and he ties the ball game. Either way, you're getting production, and you're not mad at the results. Like both of them can work in their own element, and we've seen now in the NBA more than ever. And I shouldn't say we see now. We understand now in basketball more than ever. You can never have too many playmakers on the court, to be honest with you, or guys that can get their own bucket as well as pass out of whatever scenario they are to get guys the ball. Remember, there were years. See, people don't know this, but there were years where they were talking about James Harden for MVP, and John Wall's numbers were looking better than his. This is why I never understood it about James Harden. There were years where James Harden was getting, where they were trying to give. We saw it with Russell Wilson, right? That already the media and the narrative is trying to give James Harden an MVP, but then in the midst, you're overlooking that John Wall was one of only 3 players to be averaging a goddamn triple-double. Or not averaging triple, averaging over double-digit assist. One of only 3 players in the league. Go look at the years that they're talking about. You remember those years. Those years, John Wall, who was it? John Wall, Chris Paul, and Russell Wilson. Well, it was something crazy. Were the only 3, Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson was averaging a triple-double. And they kept on talking about how close James Harden kept on getting to actually having a triple-double. But yet John Wall was out here bona fide having a double-double. And they weren't even talking about him in Washington. So I'm just saying, like, there were years John Wall, like, when he was the man, was up there with amongst one of the assist leaders in the league, and nobody talked about him. And you add that to Charlotte or any team. See, this is what I remember about. This is the John Wall that I'm remembering. But also, I know for a fact. I also know this. I live in reality. Just like this isn't Derrick Rose that used to do that. Just like this isn't the Kemba Walker that used to do that. We ain't gonna get the John Wall that used to do that. But you can get the John Wall that used to do that for 20 minutes. You can get the Derrick Rose that used to do that for 20 minutes. You can get the Kemba Walker that used to do that for 20 minutes. You get 3 guys like that can go balls to the wall for 20 minutes, and then you add that with an Emmanuel quickly that can go like that for 40 minutes. What a problem at? But like I said, I can see. I'm sorry.
With the Knicks, you've already got 2 of those dudes. Like, you've already got the veteran point guard.
Tom Thibodeau loves veteran players. That's the other thing about it. Tom Thibodeau loves veteran players. And you've heard me here. While I'm going to start looking at the Knicks in a positive light at 10-8, the Knicks have 8 bad losses. Their losses are bad. That's probably the reason why I feel so woe-is me about their losses. Their losses are bad and their wins are ugly. I'm sorry. When you have bad and ugly, that's an equation for evil or failure. Like, I'm sorry. You bad and you ugly? You can't be bad and ugly. If you ugly, you better be funny.
That's my motto, man. I've been living off that.
Listen, if whoever told you that advice, as like if it was an elder person, or older friend that told you that advice, you should cherish that person as one of your old heads, because they gave you very sound advice. Very, very sound advice.
My grandfather taught me about point spreads and stuff in football when I was a kid. He literally told me, maybe you're not so good at playing sports, but...
You know what? That sounds like something I'm going to tell one of my children. Like, listen, you know what? Come here. Like, listen, I may not have given you the genes to play sports, but I've given you the gene to know sports. Let me show you how to gamble. Start picking some numbers for me. Let's see how you start working. I'm gonna give you a dummy account. Here goes your $20 allowance. Let's see what you can do with it. I'll create a whole separate.
First year he let me play his football pool with his work. It was like 100 people in it. I was 12 years old and I won the thing.
Because you know why? You're so hyper focused, man. You're paying attention to so much detail. Like you have so
I had
much
a lot more time when I was 12.
Yeah, exactly. Like you could put so much into it. It's almost unfair. Like you had an unfair advantage. You had youth on your side, which John Wall doesn't have.
I gotta tell myself every day: don't quit your job and be a professional sports gamer. If you're not going to work, you're going to be homeless.
Listen, youth was on your side, but youth isn't on John Wall's side. But you've been on John, and like I said, I know I keep bringing this back to a Knicks perspective because I'm a Knicks fan. And let's go around the league, right? On the other 10 teams, I can almost see him going anywhere. I can see him going to Brooklyn because Brooklyn really wants to. Brooklyn needs more attackers. They're gonna want to replace still what isn't Kyrie Irving if they can for cheap. Brooklyn would take him in a heartbeat. Brooklyn wants as many natural-born scorers as possible. You talk about natural-born killers? No. They want natural-born scorers. And they, even though they're sitting number 1 in the East, just like how I feel about the Knicks is how the Brooklyn Nets kind of feel about themselves or their fans. They could have done better. They're kind of underachieving. Miami Heat, I'm gonna say the only reason why I can see him going there is because of Pat Riley. And Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra, and I am under the full firm belief that culture can absorb almost 90% of the talent in the NBA and make them productive. So when somebody like John Wall hits the market, I wouldn't be surprised if Miami Heat organization or if Miami Heat fans would take. And you know, I'm gonna have to start looking out. I'm listen. I know you guys have some fans. I'm gonna start asking the fan bases of the different organizations that I know. Like, hey, would you take John Wall on your team? But I have to give them a scenario. He's cleared waivers. You're paying peanuts for him while Houston is taking on the base of his salary. Would you take him? Would you take him on? I think Miami does. I'm sorry?
I do think when you mentioned 10 teams that could contend in the East, I think you might have forgot one.
Who did I forget?
Just a little bit north of your team.
Did I? I mentioned Boston already. I did not mention Toronto at all because they were the and not for nothing because I literally pulled the list of the top 10 teams in the East. But even though, like I said, we have Boston sitting at 10-9, Cleveland and Toronto Raptors are both also sitting at 9-10. So if we're talking about there's two teams that can possibly, if I'm looking as a Knicks fan and saying there's two teams that I'm hoping that the Knicks can surpass. Well, I'm pretty sure there's two teams as well in the top 10, even 3 teams. I'm pretty sure some teams are looking at the Knicks the same way that I'm looking at these other 2 teams that can possibly fall. And like I said, I think Chicago, and not really Chicago, but it's Charlotte, who's one of them, right? And listen, I ain't gonna lie. I'm surprised about Chicago. I'm surprised about Washington. I'm surprised about Charlotte. And Atlanta, I'm not surprised about. So if any one of those 4
teams, I thought Atlanta be better.
Yeah, listen, I'm not. But like I said, I am a full blown at this point in time Trae Young hater. Like you guys know how I feel about this. Like there is no sunshine when it's gone. Like, and the thing about it, I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't think I've ever really been a fan of Trae Young, to be honest with you.
Yo, you know Trae Young was still good?
What the fuck? That's not it.
Yo, you know Trae Young was still good, right? Fuck Trae Young! Fuck Trae Young! Fuck Trae Young! Fuck Trae Young!
I'm gonna tell you.
We'll have to do a live podcast together when the Knicks play the Raptors in the play-in in April.
Oh, listen, I'm all for it. I am all for it. Listen, when when it comes to Trae Young, I don't think I ever was really a fan of him. And I remember the All-Star game where he won the skills challenge. I wasn't a fan of how he won that, where he threw the ball up ahead and then he ran to it and then he went about shooting his shots and shit. So he didn't dribble with the ball. He threw it ahead and went. And I was like, I see how you found a loophole to the rule, but that's fugazi as fuck. Because you didn't think, because you were behind, to be honest with you. And if you didn't do that, you wouldn't have gotten ahead and also won the game. Or won that match. I think, was he playing against Luka that game? In that matchup? I can't remember. But I remember that shit. And that shit really never sat right with me. So I never really been a fan of Trae Young. Like, I was excited to kind of see him come into the NBA and see what he does. I know they called him the next Stephen Curry. Still thought he was kind of small. But then, it was funny. I remember thinking he was small. And then, looking at his size compared to a lot of the point guards in the league now, and then coming to realization, like, holy shit, I didn't realize how small the NBA had gotten. But can you say that how good of a thing that is probably for some of these point guards? Because none of them have to worry about going through what Baron Davis went through, where they're trying to put 25 pounds of muscle on him, and they want him walking around at 225 pounds. And every time every season they're wondering why the hell he got back problems. The first year he comes in at around like 200 pounds for the year. He has one of the most monstrous seasons ever. We just didn't understand nutrition and shit like that back then. And body types or nothing. Nothing at all.
Kyle Lowry's still working on it.
Hey, Kyle Lowry's still looking in the best shape of his life right now. I'm not gonna lie. Even though he just has that body type where you have to really pay attention to certain portions or certain features on the body to notice weight loss or weight gain. And it really can't be in the face. And if you look in the face, you have to really pay attention to where in the face it is.
He's the Kevin Owens of the NBA. He should grow a beard.
Yeah. Well, Kevin Owens is just a big boy. Like Kevin Owens wears like a black spandex underneath his t-shirts. Like so that you don't see his gut protruding sometimes. Like, no, he's just a big boy. You'll be surprised. Like guys like Draymond and Kyle Lowry, right? No homo shit, but when you see them without their shirts on, like they're not so out of shape as we thought they were.
Yeah, they're thick but muscular.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, we're talking about body types here. We all have different body types. Right. So as we talk about in a weird way, right? 7 degrees of separation, right? Something always comes back to the Knicks. Actually, this one I don't even have to do anything in there. This is actually just plain old simple LeBron James talk. All right. So
Cleveland, this is for you.
I know we spoke the other day about how LeBron James had a fan removed from his from the game against Indiana, and it was in Indiana. And I don't think we quite understood. I don't know if we talked about what had been said on the podcast. I'm trying to remember when did I come to the realization where I end up learning what he said. And we end up learning that
I still don't know what was said, so we didn't talk about it. Okay. Well, the young lady mentioned twice about LeBron James's son, saying that like I hope he gets in like a car accident or some shit like that. Like I hope your son gets into a wreck, or I hope your son gets into a car accident, or I hope your son breaks his legs or some shit. You know what I mean? Like she kept on saying shit like that, and that's when she was like, nah. That's when LeBron James was like, nah, get this motherfucker removed. Like you can boo me, you can do all this stuff, but leave my fucking family and my kids out of this. And she should be more embarrassed than homie that puked on himself in Sacramento. That's disgusting.
Yo, so once I learned that, I'm like, okay, you know what, LeBron James, I can fully understand because, like I said, like I'm one of those people where I know if I get close enough, I am going to heckle the shit out of LeBron. You understand? I'm going to do some research. I'm going to pull up old stuff about old teammates. I'm going to pull up old stats from Cleveland. Like, you understand? I'm going to pull up old final failure numbers. Like,
I'm going to picture Delonte West.
I don't know if I can bring up a picture of Delonte West. Delonte West is a different head case on it to his own self. Like, I don't want to, because then let's talk about his mama, and I ain't trying to bring his mama into this either. Like, I'll be kicked out for sure. Oh man. And plus, Delonte West at this point in time has become such a sad story that I don't want to use Delonte West. You know what I mean? Like it is really sad.
I thought about the surface level of that joke when I first said it, and then immediately regretted it.
Listen, I get it. I get it. It happens like that. it's like that sometimes. But I understood what why LeBron James ended up getting that fan kicked out. Like I get it now. Like I say, this is coming from one of the biggest like LeBron James scrutinizers and haters out there, where I find a way to poke at him almost any time I get. Like I said, and we're talking about the great LeBron James here. And this point in time, like he wasn't wrong. I get it. I think almost anybody can understand, or especially if you're a parent, right, can understand what somebody crosses those family lines of how you may take it. Like, listen, and we're talking about a state like Indiana where they burnt down the house of their superstar, one Reggie Miller. So who knows how they'll treat another superstar. And like I said, LeBron James was in Cleveland where they even vandalized his property at one point in time. So listen, ain't no standing for it.
Where did those quotes come from? Like, are they, like, is that just what LeBron said, or did people sitting there saying that?
Oh no, people. It was reported that people around the couple was said that they kept on mentioning this stuff. So this started.
Trying to find an angle where I'm not on LeBron James' side. Yeah, it's really difficult.
I know, right? So this came from the people around them, and remember even when we first talked about the incident, the one thing that I said, they must have said something, because if this was ill-received, normally the people around them at least start trying to take up for them when security came. Like, man, they didn't do nothing. They at least tried to explain that this may have been overblown. Nobody took up for them. They just kind of gave that look like, fucked up now. Because I don't know if you guys did this or if you guys do this. Every time I kept on watching it, I was watching for the reaction of the people around them as they were getting kicked out. Not so much watching their reaction, but watching the reaction of everybody around them. And when I saw how nonchalantly everybody was like, yeah, you kind of brought it on yourself, I was like, they must have said or did something, because it looked like they could have been in a group. And if they weren't in a group, it looked like if they thought that it was wrong, they may have tried taking up for them. And they did nothing. They just sat there and was like, oh shit, that's your ass, Mr. Postman.
It's the lady that was saying all this shit, right?
And it had to be. It had, like, I didn't get a chance to fully identify, but I think it was her identified as the protagonist. Antagonist.
Imagine you're the boyfriend or the husband sitting there and you
like, babe,
you gotta go. I didn't say shit.
Yeah.
I'll meet you inside.
Listen, man, like,
I'll meet you at the car.
Yeah, for real. Like, I'll unlock the car from here. Hey, Google, unlock my car.
I paid $2,000 for these
courtside seats. Yeah, and you know what's bad too? The Pacers were winning. This is not a second time in a row that Lakers team has been riled up by something that was done to their team to come away with a victory. They were losing in that Pacers game, and that shit right there rallied them to finish a blowout. Just like how they were losing in that goddamn Detroit game. You know what I mean? Before LeBron James punched Isaiah Stewart, and Isaiah Stewart went all tried to go all meta world peace on his ass, and then got 2 games.
That's that mellow Westbrook influence that you've been talking about, bro.
What's that?
That's that Carmelo Westbrook influence you've been talking about, though, like that dog mentality.
It has to be, because can I tell you this? Okay, I will. Can I tell you something that's also weird? I don't know if you guys have noticed, because I'm glad you mentioned Melo. Have you noticed that since he's been in LA, Carmelo Anthony has adopted this weird goon enforcer role? Is it just me that has noticed Mello the Enforcer. And can I tell you, I'm loving it. I am loving this Enforcer Mello. Like, who would have thought Mello's new role in the NBA would be Enforcer? I'm sorry. As much as I love it, it tickles me to death to think of Carmelo Anthony as an Enforcer B. But Carmelo Anthony was always
he's like the Big E to LeBron's Dolph Ziggler.
Oh my God, he is something. I can't even explain it. It is weird to see, right? One, like, that's probably first thing. It is weird to see, but it also excites and entices because we always knew Melo always got aggressive rebounds, right? He always got a rebounds with his elbows high, and I was like, "Give me that shit, get the fuck out of here," kind of shit, right? Like if you ever hear Melo play, like you always hear him yelling out some obscene shit, like low key or whatever. But who knew that Melo had a whole entire enforcer in him? Like an enforcer? Like, come on now, listen. While I love to see it, if you would have pulled this curtain back 10 years ago and be like, "Hey, do you see Carmelo Anthony as an enforcer?" I think everybody would have laughed like I told like I did a Kevin Hart special. Nobody sees. Wait a minute. Yeah, Charlotte's gonna drop in the rankings. Their point differential is not withstanding. They're gonna fall if they keep this up. You don't maintain a winning record with a negative point differential.
You bring in John Wall.
We'll see. We're gonna keep an eye on that. Cause that's what's telling me that Cleveland isn't gonna break through. Toronto could break through. That tells me that Atlanta and Boston may get higher. Milwaukee got room to grow. Shit. And if Milwaukee, okay.
Figure out how to play Scotty Barnes and Pascal Siakam together. Once we get that locked down.
And if Milwaukee takes the jump that they're supposed to do, then they'll replace Chicago. Chicago's plus minus though, yeah. So they'll be fighting back and forth. I'm sorry. I'm trying to do some future projections just based off of the point differentials this early in the game. About 20 games in. Damn, we're a quarter through the season. Hey, baby, you still there? Actually, of course, I can hear your music in the back.
About to hang up.
What?
You sound so disappointed.
I am. Listen, I am disappointed. I am disappointed every time that you leave me. Shaking my head. He's soft. It's weird. He's good.
I gotta wake myself up. You know how hard that is.
I got you. See, even Chill Will is saying it like, yo, Carmelo Anthony is soft, and it's weird that he's adopted this enforcer role, but he has. And I hear you, baby. So if you're leaving, I love you. Good night, sweet dreams, and I'll call you in the morning.
I love you too. Please call me in the morning.
All right, just make sure your phone is on.
I have to make a school at 8 a.m. So I gotta wake up at like 6.
Oh shit. Okay, yeah, I'll work on it. I'll try my best.
Cause I gotta leave the house at 7 and make it there by 8.
Yeah, because I'm already about like 6 beers in since I woke up at 6.
Oh wow, 666.
Oh shit. Mark of the Beast. All right, I need a 7th beer. Shit just got dark for no reason.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man. So
what time are you ending the podcast at 11? Oh hell.
yeah, the same time. 11:07, regular time. 11:17.
I'm shutting down right now.
Listen, everybody else is. Yeah, listen, everybody else is already.
Clean up the house too.
Yeah, you need to.
Well, not the house, because I wasn't in. You know what? I'll talk to you later, baby.
I got you. I love you, Chucks.
I love you too.
All right.
You're forgetting this ain't no personal conversation.
Yeah, listen, these calls are recorded for quality and training purposes. You know that.
Quality and training purposes off this phone. How about that?
Listen, you're gonna have to leave me before I leave you. How about that?
Oh. Damn.
It's that kiss talk.
Listen, this is how we talk. This is how we talk.
It said, I miss you more time.
Actually, it is. And I learned something today. Like, I actually, I'll tell you here on the air. So, I think I learned while driving up here that I get the I love you more from my mother. Cause when she was driving, and I called her. Remember I told you I was gonna call her about not telling me that the highway was shut off, right? Yeah. And I was getting ready to hop off the phone. I was like, "I love you." She was like, "Love you more." And I was like, "Wait, huh? Like, is that where I got that from?"
Speaking of, I know I'm failing as it sounds like jokingly, like I'm bad for answering texts, and if I miss a couple texts from my mom, she'll just hit me with a random "I love you" like a day later.
Like, damn it.
It's that guilt trip.
Like, okay, as soon as you get that, boop, 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 boop. Hey, Ma.
She knows if I don't hit her back that I love you too. So your phone isn't broken.
That's
you can't
funny.
not say it now.
For real. All right, what game is on right now? Am I seeing this right? We have Golden State Warriors and the Portland Trail Blazers, but I also have the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Sacramento Kings. We got the what happened with that Pacers and Toronto game? Did you guys come up on top? Or is it still on?
No comment.
Oh, so that happened, huh? That's how it went down. Actually, you know what? I'm seeing it right now with a minute to go. The Pacers are up 114-97. Phoenix blew out the New York Knicks 118-97. All these 97s, right? But at least you guys would score more points than we did. All right, the Washington Wizards beat OKC 101-99. Actually, no, we got two. Actually, yeah, nope. 2.8 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter. I'm not going to call that yet. Boston right now, that's still in the third quarter. They're losing to San Antonio 67-58. We got Milwaukee beating Denver right now 58-47. We have a close one in New Orleans. That game is in halftime between New Orleans and Utah. Actually, you know what? Let me pull up the box score on that one because I want to see if Zion Williamson is playing and what his stat line is currently looking like. And folks, yep. Golden State and Portland have started right now. That game is 12-7 in favor of Golden State, and we have a couple other games that have ended as well. I'm not going to go into all of those. Atlanta beat Memphis. Damn it! I hate to see Trey Young beat my next young protege. If
I could very quickly do that Raps talk.
Go ahead, get that Raps talk on.
Scotty Barnes looked phenomenal through the first 14-15 games until Pascal came back from his injury. And now that he's not like the number one option, he looks a little lost out there. It's making me think if someone out there at the deadline is looking for a Pascal Siakam, I think it's time to make that move.
So
I think Scotty was averaging like 18, and then Pascal's first game back, Scotty had 2 points.
That's interesting. So you're saying this is leaning towards something that we've discussed here previously, where if you can find a way, possibly Pascal Siakam for Ben Simmons, like that's a move that looks like, and I'm gonna tell you guys why I say that, because not only are both of them about 6'9" as well, right? So you can try to figure out whatever you want to figure out there, but also the money matches. That's the most important thing. If I'm not mistaken, they both have a 19. It's even 19 or $29 million contract, but their money matches. I know it has a 9 at the end, but that's the one thing that
29.
Yeah, that's the one thing that caught me from the very beginning, that their money matches damn near to a fucking to the goddamn dollar for what they're gonna get paid. So if I like, that's one of the first things that made me think, like, you know what, Toronto, if you can get Pascal Siakam, then go get him. And then also, if you're Philly, Pascal Siakam fits what you're looking for, which is a veteran player that can contribute right now. He's been an All-Star once already, right? Did Pascal Siakam make an All-Star team once?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, so he's been an All-Star. You could either start him or you could bring him off the bench, but he can be a contributor to you in either role. And if he's playing right, he's a mismatch problem. You get him there under Doc Rivers, under that Doc River tutelage. And Pascal Siakam could very much work for everything that Philly believes that they are entitled to get back for a guy like Ben Simmons. And if you're going back,
my phone was on its last leg, so if I fell unexpectedly, I'll be back in like a minute.
Understood. And if you're Toronto, Ben Simmons is still Ben Simmons. Then Ben Simmons is a defensive playmaking all-star defensive first team guard. Like I know people would like for him to be a more offensive player, but think of Rudy Gobert and what he gets paid and what he does. He's Rudy Gobert in guard form. Now, would you like him to shoot more? I think the whole entire sports world would like him to shoot more because that would unlock a whole different level to his talent. But right now, whatever talent that he currently has is still all-star level. And it's a little bit more consistent all-star level than Pascal Siakam. You can rebuild around Ben Simmons. You can build around Ben Simmons. Or with Ben Simmons, with Fred VanVleet. Fred VanVleet. And then also for Ben Simmons, Philly really had no culture, right? They were the culture. Or he was basically being tailored to that whole entire time. There was no kickback. There was no, hey, learn how to be a pro this, learn how to be a pro that. Now he's gonna go to Toronto, and there's gonna be Fred VanVleet there. And it's still gonna be Fred VanVleet and a couple of those vets teams. And you're going to have to fall in line with, hey, he's going to teach you how to do this. He's going to teach you how the team does that. He may even teach you how to be a better professional. And if all that falls in line, then you know what? You got a pretty good player. Like I say, it could go so many different ways in Toronto because who knows if Fred VanVleet is even happy with that. And he may want to take a different route. Okay, looks like we got some comments over here. We got Maddie. Lavalva is a straight up mark ass bitch. If I told you that before, good. If not, him, it is hurt on dweebs. Lonzo wears undershirts because he's a huge nasty nipples. The whole Ball family is stupid. It's something that I'm reading for the comments, by the way. The whole Ball family is stupid, and Dad Lavar crapped his pants on a Delta flight. I was on with him a few months back, and he sat in it for 3.5 hours. Lavar Ball kid hit from behind because he has. Oh, okay. Oh wow, that's a little more personal. Like I don't know how you know the size about the man's penis, but Volleyball doesn't shower the guy because he apparently somebody doesn't like LaVar Ball. Actually, I think you told us that in a bit. LaVar Ball is a straight up mark ass bitch. I think that's where it started. Apparently, somebody doesn't like LaVar Ball as much as actually more than I don't like LeBron James. Now, as we talked about Ben Simmons, right, and we talk about freakish athletes that are with teams or with not teams or with teams, coming back to teams, we heard it earlier. Bum, bum, bum. Zion Williamson is official. Okay, actually, you know what? Is scheduled to return to the Pelicans. And let's see here if he played in this game. Nope, we did not see a Zion Williamson playing in this game, but he is scheduled to return, which means that he is almost back. And it only makes news because it's freaking Zion Williamson. And as you guys know, I think Zion Williamson is a better version of Kenneth Faried. And I get a lot of slack from that from some of my particular co-hosts. Listen, he is a great father and a great marketer. That is definitely one thing. Thank you. And ball sneakers are awful. Looks like baby shit and used condoms. Shoes were trash. But yo, who else has exploded out of their shoes all the goddamn time? And is there an NBA player outside of? Is it Zion? That it's not even the ball sneakers. It's just any sneakers he just explodes out of. That's just crazy. And then it happened again in summer camp. Or the summer league. It happened to him. It happened to him in college. It happened to him in the summer league, and I think it's happened to him in a regular game as well too. He's literally blowing through sneakers. But I think the same. Actually, you know what? I think the same thing is happening to Knicks center Mitchell Robinson. I think that's who it's happening to. I think Mitchell Robinson is starting to blow out of his sneakers a lot too. So he's trying to find himself like a well-made pair, a well-groomed pair, or well-made pair of sneakers. You know what? I think we've done enough basketball for today. I think we got a nice little dosage of basketball, Thanksgiving stuff, and everything else. Let's get into some football because we can't really. We can't really do basketball. We can't really do Thanksgiving without football. Let's go ahead and take a quick break. We'll come back to you guys. When we come back, football time.
They didn't join this team to win championships or become famous. They joined because there is important work to be done, and only some able to do it. They are brighter, better educated, led, and equipped than any team in history. They are doctors, lawyers, engineers, technologists, and combat troops, all prepared for whatever comes their way. You'll find them where the lights don't flash, and the only contract they sign is with themselves and their country. One day, they may be asked what they did to make a difference in this world, and they can respond, I became a soldier. They didn't join this team to win championships or become famous. They joined because there is important work to be done, and only some able to do it. They are brighter, better educated, led, and equipped than any team in history. They are doctors, lawyers, engineers, technologists, and combat troops, all prepared for whatever comes their way. You'll find them where the lights don't flash, and the only contract they sign is with themselves and their country. One day, they may be asked what they did to make a difference in this world, and they can respond, I became a soldier.
Back with the MyT Sports Podcast. Still your host, TNF Taylor. Thank you guys for listening. Had to go take a quick commercial break. Had to go grab a new beer. Had to go, and then I ran into some treats. I got cupcakes. I got like 3 different kind of cupcakes, mini cakes. I didn't get a chance to get none of these during last night. Like I said, like I was in a whole different world. I didn't get none of the sweets. I ain't get no pie. I ain't get no nothing. But I got them now, and we're back. Okay. So as we were about to say, I think we've covered enough basketball for right now. I think it's time for us to go ahead and switch into some football, right? And before we get into the full thread of football, because we'll be irresponsible to have a Thanksgiving show and not talk football, because at this point in time, like Thanksgiving is almost synonymous with football, right? The NFL has made sure that they have gotten themselves intertwined with Thanksgiving. And they keep trying to tread on Christmas, and I'm not having any of it. Let's let you know, just let you know, NFL, once again, I will not be watching not 1 minute of an NFL game on Christmas Day. How dare you assholes keep trying to infiltrate Christmas with your goddamn football. Leave it for basketball. You don't see basketball trying to fuck with you on Thanksgiving. Don't fuck with basketball on Christmas. You've been warned. You get no ratings from me. I'm not even going to talk about that game. You keep doing games on Christmas, I won't even talk about. Oh shit! Almost spilled my beer all over my shit. I will refuse to talk about games on Christmas Day if you do them. How about that? I'll boycott them. Flat out boycott. talking about any game that you have on Christmas. Some bullshit. You're just greedy. That's all you are. That's just greed. That's just pure greedy assholeism. You don't need that shit. But let's talk. Before we get into all the games, let me get us into some Jets shit, right? Because you know what? The Jets have done something very recently that I kind of had to get off my chest. I couldn't let them slide with this. So you know what? We got a little Jets talk to talk about, and a little bit more about the dysfunction of the New York, or what is the New York Jets. And one of their quarterbacks who I now called Unvaco Flacco. Right? That is his new name to me. Unvaco Flacco. And I don't understand how Joe Flacco not only made it onto a team as a backup, but got moved around, picked up by the New York Jets for assets as a backup. And he wasn't quarantined. And he's not quarantined. And by how the league treated one, as this always comes back to somehow, Cam Newton, right? I feel like I do a lot of Cam Newton talk for somebody that isn't a Carolina fan, right? Or even so much a fan of Cam. Actually, I'm not a fan of Cam Newton. I'm not a super fan of Cam Newton, right? I'm not a Cam Newton fanatic. But I find myself constantly having to talk about Cam Newton. And I find it odd that it almost seemed that no team even wanted to look at Cam Newton for a backup role if he wasn't vaccinated. And the NFL has kind of almost hinted towards maneuvering as such. They didn't want to even give you a shot or a true role in the NFL if you're not vaccinated. And yet, here go the New York Jets. You have to understand how bad this was, right? The New York Jets wanted to bring in Joe Flacco for a little bit of veteran leadership to help out their rookie quarterback. The New York Jets already had Joe Flacco on their team as veteran leadership before they got this rookie quarterback. And they gave him away for nothing. And then they gave away a 6th-round pick for him. And then he wasn't vaccinated. So the week that they brought him for, they couldn't play him. And then we end up finding out there were 2 other quarterbacks that also had some veteran experience on this team that could look more productive in this offense other than Zach Wilson. The New York Jets decided that they needed to bring back Joe Flacco. Now, I'm not the one to just keep clamoring on teams and say that this is the kind of dysfunction that they had. But I just want people to know that just because a team has always been just because a team hasn't won a championship in a while should not add to the degree of dysfunction. I'm just saying that the New York Giants are just a dysfunction to the New York Jets. and the narrative doesn't seem as such all the time. But the New York Jets are a complete fuck up. Like, that is some... Hold on 1 second. I gotta try this. That's good. The way the New York Jets are managing their roster and their quarterback scenario, it really, really, really highlights the fact that nobody in that organization that they currently have, general manager, head coach, offensive coordinator, and none of them have any experience at their job. If it wasn't evident it is here because normally we hear of new head coach, they may hire a veteran offensive coordinator, maybe even offensive coordinator used to coach in this league. Nope, not the Jets, not Robert Salah. I said everybody. There's a rookie and there's literally a rookie in every important position for the New York Jets: general manager, head coach, offensive coordinator, and quarterback. And when they all come together and form the rookie fuck up of Voltrons, you can see why the New York Jets are such a fuck up this year. Like, it really does. It's overbearing. But I don't want to talk so much about the Jets. I just had to point that out. That the New York Jets brought in Vaco Flacco. And that probably has to be one of the dumbest moves. Or if you have to look at the worst move for a season, or the dumbest move for a season, that's probably going to rank up there. We see Deshaun Jackson already paying dividends for his new home. I don't know what kind of dividends Joe Flacco is going to prove for the New York Jets.
Thanksgiving was a bad day for Bills Mafia.
Thanksgiving was not a bad day for Bills Mafia. Wait, did I miss something? Wait, was there some trepidation in your
torn ACL done for the season?
In your blow? Oh, okay. I was about to say, was there some trepidation in your blowout victory? I didn't get a chance to watch the game. I think I was already out.
Trey White pulled up on a coverage play, went off the field, torn ACL done for the year.
Oh, that
As a
sucks.
Bills fan, if I'm a Magic 8 Ball, the Super Bowl odds say outlook not so good.
That sucks. My condolences. But at least you were the one team that had expectations to win, took care of their business easily, and didn't leave any question marks about if they're still at least a serious team or not. Because you needed this victory, and you wanted to and you needed to get back. I didn't really get back, but you want to continue with winning habits and winning momentum. And we know it's Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is rough. It's a Thursday night game. All Thursday night games are rough. Like, I remember back in my day, the only game we had on Thursdays was Thanksgiving days, right? Which absolutely sucks. I can even say that like that, but it's absolutely true. Like, this used to only be the only Thursday night game, but we had it. Chicago, Detroit.
Even back in my day, Thanksgiving was just the Cowboys game and the Lions game.
Oh, word. There was only one game. But now we get both teams able to have a game, and they don't play each other. You get a third game in there. It's a whole show. We had Chicago facing Detroit, and that had to be the turkey bowl of the unmentionables. Like, that's the green bean casserole of you know what I mean? Of your evening. That's the experimental potato salad that somebody put raisins in. Like, that's what Chicago Detroit is. When we're talking about,
no one's going back for seconds on the Tim Boyle Andy Dalton game.
Exactly. And Chicago really almost lost that game. There was a point in this game looking like, oh, can Detroit get their first victory? But of course, Detroit is way more familiar with failure than I think any team is in the last decade. And it shows. When's the last time they won a Thanksgiving game?
I just want them to win one.
Would you be surprised if they finish the season with another something in a tie? Cause they did this before, didn't they? Have a undefeated season, have a winless season, but they had a tie in there somewhere. Or am I mistaken?
I'm not sure. I know they went 0-16 a few years ago.
Few years. Well, see, I think they may have done this a couple years, but yeah, they've produced some really bad seasons.
I think their best chance might be Week 18 against the Packers. If the Packers have like the 1 seed put away.
and they nail some
That
shit
might be
in.
their best chance to win a game this season.
It could be. They have to figure out something. Once again, that's another place that has. But see, wait a minute, no sympathy for Detroit, because they have a rookie head coach. But don't they have Carson Wentz there? Is that where he went to? Jared Goff. Sorry, same guy to me. No, Carson Wentz is in Indiana. Carson Wentz is in Indiana, I think, right? But yeah, but they have Jared Goff. And we already know that there are no excuses for Jared Goff. Jared Goff even needs, like, if Jared Goff has this season, let's put it this way. Jared Goff is no longer a starter in this league after this season. He has officially lost his starting job in the league. He's going to have to come in after an injury for somebody, light it up, and for somebody to think that, oh, there goes something that we saw before, and let's try to give him another starting job somewhere. As we go through a transition or a rebuild or a bridge process, but he is no longer going to be considered a starting quarterback in this league. They had this head coach.
He could be the next Case Keenum. Like, he could be a backup for 7 years.
He could be. He very well could be, but he's done. He's almost done now, based off of just what his head coach didn't want to call him out. He cried for his team, and then he had to call him out. And I still never forget the pain on his face, the angst on his face when he had to call out Jared Goff, like, because he had just cried the week before. He's like, I'm not gonna go as far as crying, but you can see he was hurt to have to call out Jared Goff. What's up, Ma?
You go. No one stayed over here.
I'm gonna go. Where my stuff is at?
Oh, smash your stuff over
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, I'll take that hour trip down the road.
Like the numbers Cooper Kupp is putting up this year. Like, he was putting up numbers with Goff. People are surprised now this year he's putting up the numbers he has with Stafford.
Just to show you that, one, how good he was and how much better he could have always been looking. That's really what it is. It's kind of ridiculous. And we all know Matthew Stafford has no problem finding a number one target or finding his best target. Now, he's had some up and down games this year. He has a couple of head scratchers, but I don't think a head scratcher is beyond anybody this year. And that's the thing about it. A head scratcher game, two head scratcher games, even 3 so far, is not beyond some of the people that we held in some of the highest regards.
Aside from maybe Arizona, has anybody not lost a bad game this year?
I thought Arizona didn't have a bad loss this year? I don't know. I'm trying to think. I thought even Arizona had a bad loss. To be honest with you.
They lost to the Packers. And then their other loss was without Kyler Murray, Josh Rosen started.
I guess so. Shit. I guess Kyler Murray has not taken a bad loss so far this year. Man, because even Baltimore has, I think. Wait, did Baltimore? Yeah, I think
Baltimore lost to the Dolphins on Monday night.
Yeah, they had that bad one. So yeah, even Baltimore had some. I'm telling you, man, there's something special going on with some of these teams. Arizona may be one of them. It's just that they haven't done it in the playoffs yet. So all this special regular season shit, you know what it ends up being. It's like, do that shit in the postseason. Like, we love to see that shit now, and it gives us something to talk about and highlight from week to week. But to really get Robert, to really get Kyler Murray into that next stratosphere of players that he looks like he could replicate with his play in the regular season, or he could put himself amongst with his play in the regular season, we have to see it in the postseason. And we have to see it for the next 3 to 5 years in the postseason. Because really, like, everything...
If it wasn't for this injury, he's probably the clear-cut MVP.
But like I said, but now this is a pattern for him. Have a great season, then gets injured. Now, the only thing that hasn't happened is that his team didn't get derailed in W's. You coming through? Oh, yeah. Come on, you good. So my auntie asked me if she could come
All
through.
quarterback who runs, man. That's I'm not surprised he gets injured.
Yeah. So the good thing about him this year, the only thing that didn't fit the pattern is that last year it was his team couldn't get right after he got injured. This year they have learned how to keep their head above water. Because really when you figure, like almost any team, when you lose your starting quarterback, the only thing you're really trying to do is keep your wins above 500 until they get back. Really. That's really what it is. And they're managing that. So right now he has a pattern, do good in the regular season until he gets injured. And he has to build a pattern of making it to the postseason and doing some actual work and damage in the postseason. And he's going to have to make it consistent for 3 to 5 years. You don't have to have 3 to 5 years of winning, but you have to have at least 3 to 5 years of consistency in the playoffs to at least start looking right. And then they're going to expect you to win eventually. But he can make a good case for himself of being of having a 5-year run of constantly being in the playoffs. Past the first round, obviously.
With Murray and Henry both getting hurt, who's your MVP right now? I think it's tough.
It is tough because almost everybody is almost on the same playing field to me in a weird way. The amount of votes I can see Lamar Jackson getting, I can see Tom Brady getting. I can also see Josh Allen getting. I can see Matthew Stafford getting. You know, so it's a race. But you know what? I'm happy for that. It's actually a race this year, because like in years past,
It might be Trevon Diggs.
Listen, if that would be awesome, if that would happen, because then that would also make the Dallas Cowboys' demise even more sweet than this red velvet cupcake I'm about to eat. That's good. As we talk about Dallas,
You should surround yourself with sweets. You got Chills, you got Sweet Brand, you got Red Velvet.
listen, I had a yellow cake with some icing on it. Then I had a marble cake with a little bit of icing on it, and then I was a red velvet. So when I went on my beer run, I came back with 3 little cupcakes. And then I had my sugars over there. That's really what happened. I saw my sugars and my sweet tooth got activated. Now,
Coping mechanism.
yep, that's the only way I can get by. So now we had Vegas take on Dallas yesterday, and shout out to one of our co-hosts on the podcast, Mark and his son, that they ended up going to the game in Dallas. Was it in Dallas? Yeah. They ended up going to... The game was in Dallas? Shit. Yeah, they ended up going to the game in Dallas. He ended up taking his son or whatever. I think he went with either one of his cousins or one of his brothers or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Like but it was one of his growing up family members. I mean, so they all four went there. And unfortunately, they were not rewarded with a Dallas Cowboys victory. What they were rewarded with was the Dallas Cowboys doing what the Dallas Cowboys are known to do when you have the highest of expectations of them. Unfortunately. Because we've said this already. It's actually, wait a minute. Wait, Dak Prescott missed game.
The war with the only good Thanksgiving game.
Wait, did Dak Prescott... See, again, I was about to say Dak Prescott could be an MVP candidate, but also, everybody that I mentioned, I can see all of those other guys getting just as many votes. It's a really good problem to have this year in the NFL, because I usually feel that right around now, we usually have an idea of who may be MVP. And I want to say, as we currently talk now, there may be legitimately 7 to 10 people that could be MVP.
I feel like at this point last year it was almost definitely Mahomes, maybe Allen or Henry. And they ended up being the top 3.
Yeah, I'm saying, yeah, you usually have an idea. And because usually you can have an idea of like who's going to be picked out, who's going to be the top 2 or 3 guys. Right now there's 7. with injuries and lack of consistency and missing games for illness, because all of that has to be, if you miss games, it has to be taken into consideration, right? With all of that, yeah, it makes it tough. It almost makes it seem like there's going to be somebody that wins it that we don't even think about, because we're thinking about all of the common names that would have lost, that have already missed games, that there may be somebody at a different position or a different side of the ball that we may not even be looking at, and they'll be like, you know what, you've been here all season, you've been beasting, bam, here goes your numbers, here goes your MVP this year.
That's why I brought up Javon.
Which is why I made your case for Javon.
No, that's just, I'm saying, like, it's a quarterback almost every year. I think the last non-quarterback was Peterson.
And like I said, and he had to come 6 yards shy or less than 10 yards shy to me, so it could be a little bit more. I could be a little bit more right and make sure that I'm not off. But let's be less than 10 yards shy of having the all-time rushing record for a season. And was that also coming off of an ACL surgery too that happened, or was it before?
I'm pretty sure it was before. I think it was like 08.
Okay. I keep trying to remember if that was the
I looked
year.
this up a couple weeks ago. The last defensive player was LT, I think, as crazy as that is.
Really? The last defensive player was LT. That's kind of wild to me. To think that, like, years past that, I mean, we're talking about, like, the first name that really pops to me is Deion Sanders. The fact that he didn't get one. Like, I know I have a bias of thinking about Darrelle Revis and even the guy from Baltimore, Ray Lewis. I know I'm biased to think about those two guys, but to really think that Deion Sanders didn't get one, that's crazy to me. Like, that's almost unacceptable.
1986, Lawrence Taylor, last MVP on defense.
Damn. Go ahead, namesake. See another great Taylor. Another great Taylor in ball in history. Oh, man. So, with everything going on now with the NBA having, NFL having an extra game, on top of just physical ability, you also have to make sure you don't miss games for illness. Can this now cause a shift in the NFL where it's not automatically always going to the offensive guy? But then again, who's on there on defense that is standing out? Like, is Von Miller or is not Von Miller? Shit. Fuck.
Aaron Donald.
There we go. Is Aaron Donald out there beasting enough to say, hey, let's give you the MVP? But you know what also, though? I'm going to tell you this. It's one of those things I felt like if the NFL rewarded other positions with MVP, it would force those other positions to get more shine. Like, if they gave that to Aaron Donald, it would get his position more shine. Which means that they don't realize that. Actually, you know what? I'm about to say some shit. The NFL, in the way that they're doing the way that their MVP is made, they are making it so where you overlook the defense and you only focus on offense. Because if they gave a defensive guy that MVP,
it's so much harder to look at numbers for defensive, right? Like if you're Aaron Donald, you get 3 offensive linemen on you every rush.
But see, that's what I'm saying.
If they the numbers there,
if they give that position,
if you're a cornerback, the quarterback's not throwing to your side of the field the entire game because you're so dominant.
Yeah, that's gonna, But see, and that's with my theory. I feel that if they gave that guy an MVP, it would force them to It would force them to hyper focus on that position a little bit more. Hold on, guys, 1 second. I've been sitting down for a while. I had to bend the knees a little bit. Oh man. So that's why I have like a weird theory that if they gave somebody like Aaron Donald an MVP, it would force a light on that position to make you understand it a little bit more. Because that's what you say, like, oh, it's kind of hard to see, but if you end up watching it more now, because your MVP is that position, it will start making you see, like, oh damn, look at that, he doing that shit, and there's 3 people. Oh, well, he's or look at that, or look how he's pulling this attention to be able to help. It would automatically force your attention to see what this guy is doing at MVP. But every year it's the quarterback or maybe a running back or wide receiver, and then we end up studying that position to see what that position is doing to be an MVP. So if we did it to a defensive player, you'll probably end up forcing everybody to start to study defensive players to see what they're doing to be MVP. Because people are already studying defensive players to see what they did to be Hall of Famers and great. But now what if you hyper-focus them during the game? Not to research them, but hyper-focus on them during the game all the time sometimes to see, hey, let's see what makes this guy so great in real life, on a live time. Let me start watching out for him.
That's why Deion said he created that primetime character, because he's like, how come I'm getting paid a third of what wide receivers are getting paid, and I'm dominating the entire game? But no one pays attention to that position.
Mm-hmm.
So when he made this primetime character, it was flashy and wore the chains and the shades and talked all that junk before the game.
Always before the game, never during. Just always before and after. Basically, not during those 3 hours where somebody can take your head off legally. Before and after.
He wasn't doing that Richard Sherman. Come after me with Crabtree.
Hold on a second. I you know I got that somewhere. Because Richard Sherman, actually not even so much Richard Sherman. Because I don't think it was Richard Sherman that I missed out of the NFL. But who I miss is really
who was the dude that smashed the chain?
Robert Kraft.
When you try me with a sorry receiver like Crabtree, that's the result you're gonna get.
I will go to Andy up, you'll get your Barbie chain back.
Yo, that's all I ever think about. So I think I miss more than anything else is Hakeem Talib, or whatever his first name is, Hakeem Talib and Robert Crabtree. Because that 3-year beef was must-see TV. Because I also feel that Crabtree left that division to get away from Talib. And then Talib changed teams. And then the very next year they had to play each other. He was like, fuck. He was like, you know what?
The man smashed his chain
I'm
on
gonna,
the field.
Yo, because it happened, So I remember, I want to say it happened a third time, but I know it definitely happened twice. The first time it happened, he just regularly snatched his shit, right? Man, disrespectful. The second time it happened, I think this is the second time it happened, and this is why I can never remember. This is the second or the third time. Robert Crabtree taped his chain to his chest so that Hakeem Talib would not rip it off. Do you know what Talib did? He went into his undershirt because he realized the first time that he couldn't get his chain, but he saw it there around his neck. So he stuck his hand into his undershirt and he ripped it off, taped everything and chest hairs.
Looking like Steve Carell in the 40-year-old version.
Exactly. Nothing with a smiley face on his chest.
Kelly Clarkson.
Oh my God. Like, so I don't even so much miss Richard Sherman as much as I miss seeing those two line up and wishing that they had 10 more years in the league. Because could you imagine the taunting penalties?
They gotta get rid of that shit too.
Oh my God. But I'm telling you, but this is the problem. If Talib was in the league, he would help them justify having taunting penalties if he's still in the league with Robert Crabtree. Like, see, this is why we need taunting penalties. We can't be having this happening. He's ripping his chain off his chest. This ain't WWE. God damn it, this is madness. Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Oh, man. Man.
That dude is fantastic doing color commentary on CBS.
Which guy?
Keep Talib.
Oh, he's getting better. He's getting better. He's getting better. I still remember his like anybody else. I remember his rookie year. His rookie year was real rough. It was real rough.
I'm sure he was nervous, but now he's learning when to put his personality into it and when to play it straight.
In the beginning, it was kind of all personality, all Compton. like it was really like it was really
the anti Tony Romo.
Fully anti Tony Romo. This was commentary meant for Triller production. The kind of commentary he was trying to give. Like, only Snoop Dogg and Kevin Hart would appreciate that shit.
Call him the next Jake Paul fight.
Probably. I can definitely see him like doing that. That probably would have been a better angle for him. But it was rough in the beginning, and so now I think this is his second or third year doing it, and he's starting to come into his own a little bit. You can see that because who has it? ESPN has one, the NFL has one, and I know the NBA has their own, where they have their own broadcasting school academy, and a communications academy and shit like that, and they push Talib through that shit, and you see him starting to get.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh no, they do. They all have a little production academy to really help. Like I said, ESPN has it, NBA, NFL has it, to really help these guys. Like if they want to get into like a TV role and stuff like that, they really have like a boot camp where they send you through it and put you through to help with your to kind of help you get that side of your career in, because ultimately it really just helps highlight your sport any better. Like it really does when you get former athletes that are able to be able to break over and have roles of articulence and loquaciousness. Then yeah, it really helps the sport, because for the most part everybody looks at athletes like dumb jocks. Like regardless of how many accomplishments that you see them pull out, that's kind of the stereotype a lot of people still resort to. Unfortunately.
My hope is that this Manning cast changes their viewpoints on how they put these guys through the ringer then. Because like I have to imagine people pay attention way more to the Manning cast than they do the regular Monday night broadcast. It should tell them like people want the personalities. They want it to be less dry.
See, I don't know if it's more yet, but it will be interesting once they start breaking down the demographics of it. And that's where they're really going to find the answers that they're looking for. Because from what I hear that a lot of people don't like it. But not people that I know. I'm just hearing, this is just what I hear from callers. Like I said, I listen to a lot of sports radio. Listen to a ton of sports radio. And I keep hearing people talk about how they don't like it, how they prefer it the more traditional. Like we don't care to hear. And me, I prefer to manage it because honestly, and even for somebody that's in a play-by-play role, half the times I have no clue who's saying what. I have no clue who's calling this. Like you really have to find a way to stick out to me. And the Manning brothers really stick out. So we'll see. It's going to be weird. And for them, they know one thing because they've been doing this on Amazon. So I don't know if you guys have Amazon Prime. If you guys have Amazon Prime for the Thursday night games, I think it's for, that you get, they have a feature, or they used to have a feature for different audio. So they used to have an all-women's broadcast. So the NFL have seen this done in different variations. So if we start seeing now one broadcast regular and one broadcast for this, I don't think it's going to. Basically, what I'm trying to say, I don't see a full shift to either or. What I am going to see is that there will always be now an option for either or, and that's still something righteous in its own self, because now you give people a choice of who they want to listen to, and how they would like to receive
Expand it
their
even
game.
more. Give me the regular broadcast. Give me the Manicast. And give
Yeah.
me Pat McAfee and Terrell Owens.
Yeah, you can have the regular blue collar broadcast, or you can have the broadcast from the former players, or you can have the broadcast from the comedians, or you can have the broadcast from the talking sports analyst. You know what I mean? Like you can play around with this. Like that's the weird thing about it. What's going on, J-Lo? That's the weird thing about it is that I don't see it having.
My head, but Pat McAfee and Terrell Owens would kill that shit.
Yeah, they could. That's like you don't have to have an either or. What you can do is give your audience everything and let them decide who they want. And then, like I said, what would be interesting to see is where the demographics come out of who's listening to the traditional, right? Like what age and what sex and what race is listening to the traditional. And then you'll see who's listening to the man, and you know what I mean? And who's listening to the all women's, and who's listening to the talking heads. And you may find out people may be switching back and forth to see which one they just like better that week sometimes. But yeah, that'll be.
I'm not sure about the gender wise, but I guarantee you the Manicasts.
But what's it? No,
way younger. I'm sure they draw a way younger of an audience in.
Oh, but yeah, I don't know. But you see, it all depends. Say, yeah, with the gender wise, like because and like I said, you'll have to break it down for gender just to see, because like I said, they have an all women's broadcast as well. That like I don't think like I said, I don't know if they still have it this year, but I don't know if people knew about it for a while. But they had an all women's broadcast for a while. You just had to pick the different audio option on your Amazon Fire Stick, and you could get it. So,
do you find that they're good, but like it's still jarring to me?
No,
like it's.
I actually sometimes
I'm so not used to it.
Not anymore. I think I may have passed that threshold. But I know what you're talking about. But I do know what you're referring to. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I was never there at one point in time. I'm no longer there. Like I also listen to so many women radio personalities as well too. Like I listen to so many women talk sports already that for me it's already and once again it's something that I used to go out of my way to do so that it could become muscle memory and not be so foreign to me. You know what I mean? To either hear, see, or like no. Like I hear him now because one of my favorite ones is still Anita Marks, and Anita Marks used to play in the LFL or in a version of the LFL, like you know what I mean, the women's football league. She played there for years. So even when I hear her and I hear about her gambling and everything else, like I don't ever really think that it's weird. I'm just like, okay, this is how she presents it. But also, it's no different than being presented from than the guy that played versus the guy that didn't play, or the women that played versus the women that didn't play. Like if you know how to critically think and break down information and articulate yourself, you know how to critically think, break down information, and articulate yourself. That shit ain't reserved for any particular gender. That's just how you're able to function. Like if you can't, you can't.
We got Kia Nurse up here. I don't know if you're familiar with Kia Nurse.
Kia Nurse?
She was in the WNBA. She's a Canadian. She's on the Canadian women's national team for a long time.
I know the last name Nurse.
Anyway, she does like the halftime, runs like the halftime show on TSN up here. She's fantastic at it, and I think the goal is to kind of transition her to the booth eventually.
That'll be good too.
Like some of these stations need to bite the bullet and just try it.
And that's what it is. And because you know what happens is that they don't want the negative backlash, but they don't realize what's gonna happen is that you're gonna get that negative backlash regardless. Like, be an adult. Like, get over that shit. Grow up here. Like, because you realize whatever, and the negative backlash they did talking about is just a few people that decide to voice their opinions angrily to talk about how they don't like to see a woman in that opinion. But that's only because
the vocal minority.
Yeah, that's also because all the people that love seeing her there isn't gonna waste. Like I'm not gonna. They're not gonna waste their time to constantly be like, "Yo, damn, we don't want to see her there." You know, they're just gonna tune in and see her there. So just let the numbers talk for itself. Because those people that are writing in, when they don't watch, it's not gonna affect it. But you know what's happening? They're still watching. That's the reason why they're writing you saying they're offended, because they can't stop watching. They just want you to put something different on for them to watch, which means that they're going to watch anyway.
I was going to say that. I'm mad there's a woman on the broadcast team. Did you watch the whole game? Well, yeah.
Exactly. like, listen, no other person more than me. I hate Reggie Miller on the announce team. But I found a solution. I mute that shit. It really did the other day to me. He was calling a game, and I was like, I can't listen to this. I really can't listen to this. I can't continue to listen to this. Every time he talks, it just sounds like it's personal. It really does. Every time he says something, it feels personal, or I feel offended by every single thing that he says. I can't listen to him at all.
I'm impressed by TNT. They must have had a time 10 or so years ago where they were very tempted to put Shaq, Ernie, Kenny, and Chuck in the booth for the games.
It had to
but
be.
They were smart enough to save that shit for halftime.
I think so too. I want to fully agree with you on that. I think there was a point in time they probably thought about it too. Because even I thought about that they probably thought about that shit. But it's like, no, you know what?
It's like the overexposure. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's less special if they're there for 3 hours.
Mm-hmm. The exclusivity or the rarity of having them for that little bit of window, and it works. It works, but it works a whole lot more than having Reggie Miller. I hate that dude. I hate him. But I want to say though, the one good thing that I can say about Reggie Miller, because Reggie Miller calls games, and I have to mute games. He has forced me to study more tape he has forced me to study games a whole lot better than I ever had before, because I can't rely on the commentary to feed me information. I have to watch everything and understand what's going on without the value. So, something good came out of that.
I can see, I catch myself watching an NBA game, even an NFL game. Like ball watching, I guess what we call it, pause.
No, yeah, you call yourself ball watching.
Not paying attention, like what the other dudes on the field or the court are doing.
Yeah, you definitely do. And I'm gonna tell you something too. When I catch myself muting the game, I catch myself not ball watching so much, because again, when it's unmuted, you kind of have the commentary team to kind of feed you everything else, right? As you're watching the ball. They're able to tell you about all the action, the double screens, depending on what happened here. When that doesn't happen, it really forces your eye to go to everybody else but the guy that has the ball, because you know the guy with the ball, if he's doing what he's doing, he's going to flash into your peripheral, right? He's going to do something, or you're just going to see a shot go up suddenly. But to see that match, but it's only with certain teams though. Like with Golden State, if you ever had to watch a game on mute and not listen to the commentators, Golden State may be one of the best ones. I'm going to probably do it for Charlotte game. I'm going to do it for Chicago game too, to see how they are. Like, so I haven't done it with a lot of the teams this year, but I think I'm going to pick a couple of select teams that have a specific kind of star to see how those games come across muted. And I will let you guys know. But it is time for me to let you guys know where you can catch the next podcast at. Actually, it's time for me to let you guys know where you can catch a lot of stuff at. First thing I need to let you do is let you know where you can get yourself some love in that. Because we've been here the whole podcast. What's going on? Goods showed up at the end of the podcast. Appreciate everything that you do. Goods is another one we was talking that I mentioned about being thankful for. He's another one of those. Another one of them. Thank you, Goods. Appreciate it. Hope you had a lovely Thanksgiving. Guys, I am ill remiss. I don't want to forget this. But as you guys know, I still have a Blue Chew promo code for you guys. You guys don't know what Blue Chew is by now? I'm pretty sure you've seen it all over your social media. Or maybe it's me. Like, I wonder, is everybody else seeing all of these Blue Chew commercials? Or is it just me based off how often I talk about Blue Chew? Because I see Blue Chew all the time. And I feel like people that know me, that join this podcast, like Natalie, she sees Blue Chew commercials all the time. I'm always talking with Natalie, my sensei, about Blue Chew, so it comes up mentioned. I'm like, damn, is it me? Am I being targeted? Or is it just really like a bunch of Blue Chew commercials out there? I don't know. But Blue Chew happens to be, folks, that little blue pill that can give you back your thrill. All you need to do is open up a pack and then you head to the sack. Just a few chews before you do. It has the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so this is one opportunity that you definitely don't want to miss. This is a sports show, so trust me when I say she's going to love how you come through like a champ when you blue chew in advance. And if you use this week's promo code of LPXH, that's Lima Papa X-Ray Hotel, you are able to get your first order of Blue Chew for free from MyT. Yes, folks, Blue Chew. All you got to do is chew it, and then make it do what it do it, baby. What's going on, squirrels? Coming at the end of the podcast. And you guys also forget that we'll be right back with you guys Monday evening, 8 p.m., 8:07. Let's be exact. You guys know I can never start exactly at 8 o'clock. We're going to be here at 8:07. Listen, that little pill will have your ex hitting you up. Like that. Listen, and we all know that is gray sweatpants season, right? So, listen, pop a Blue Chew, put on the gray sweatpants. That's the male version of lingerie, right? Yeah, I'm giving away free Blue Chew. All you gotta do is use your listen. For you guys that are now popping in the podcast as I'm ending, Blue Chew promo code LPXH. Get yourself a free order of Blue Chew. You understand? Like I said, put on a Blue Chew, put on some gray sweatpants, walk around the house. Next thing you know, she's over here looking at you as your little man is looking at her. You know what I mean? She looking at you, but she ain't looking at you. She looking at him, but he looking at her. And next thing you know, bow chicka wow wow. You get your squeak 'em squeak, squeak 'em squeak, 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 squeak 'em squeak, squeak 'em on. And yes, folks, with my promo code, you get yourself a free order. And all you gotta do is pay for shipping and handling. That's about it. Pay for shipping and handling. Cause listen, somebody gotta get paid for somewhere. Pay for shipping and handling. Everything else is on the house. Chew it and then do it. Lionel Richie style. All night long, all night, yeah. Oh no, listen, yeah, you put it to sleep. Straight put it to sleep. So if you guys forget, we'll be back here Monday evening, 8:07 p.m. You'll catch the podcast. I'll be back from vacation. I'll tell you how the weekend went. We'll do our weekend wrap up. You want that bound chicken wow wow? Right. And we're not gonna do our picks for this week, right? We'll leave the countdown picks for next week, folks. But I look forward to hearing back from you guys. And actually, next Wednesday, folks, we will be live at Sharky's. So if you're in the South Florida area, live at Sharky's, you can find us 8:07 p.m. December 1st. Drink specials, food specials. I'm special, you're special, we're all special. We're out of here. MyT Sports Podcast. Hey, yo, DJ MyT. Drop that outro for me so I can stop rattling.
Peace out, brother. Enjoy the weekend.
Thank you, SB. Squirrel's good. Chill Will. Everybody that joined the podcast, everybody that came through, that made it through, that I saw you, all of you. Appreciate it. Next time, Squirrel, call into the podcast. We'll love to hear from you.
No lag. Gonna share my talents with Podbean Live. Always knew I'd take the pod there. Just a lot later than a lot of listeners thought. Last of the real gabbers. Well, maybe not the last. Munchkin got good mic skills. New, improved MyT podcaster. Potting down now. Last call for drinks.
I didn't even make picks this week.
Bars closing.
You have to catch it on the site.
Sun's out. Heard the casino got a buffet breakfast. Don't want to go far. Wild night. Tired, be tired. MyT
Sports. We out here. Thank you guys. Appreciate you all. Really, really do. Okay, that's publishing. All right, while that does that, I can start cleaning up. Sugar, sugar. this shit up. Excuse me. I'm gonna make sure I save this to that as well. Actually, getting cold.
for headphones and stuff. You need to come with me.